means because it was such a massive supply disruption.
Yeah. Perfect. I really appreciate that. That was very good, concise. It's rare you do something well. Nico is back. How you doing, brother? Welcome in.
We're gonna find out.
Well, here we go.
Are you leveraged in options for the week or something?
No. Well, I did protect my portfolio. I did buy some puts.
So what's your expectation?
I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, my Optimus side says that who cares about the quarter? It's all about what they say. I think everyone's on that same page, but that doesn't mean Wall Street's can agree with that. So,
yeah,
I put in some protection, cheap insurance.
Okay.
So, we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, I think
it's been so crazy lately. It's like everything's been insane that I'm not taking any chances.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
protection never hurt anyone.
I think I am curious to see how much of the delivery sort of miss or underperformance, whatever you want to call it, has already been priced in. We were talking before y'all came on, is the tariff discussion is really probably the thing that's going to drive almost all of the price action in the coming weeks. From a stock perspective, that just the macro is just way too gigantic. I think from a performance today perspective, the June robotaxi and the unsupervised FSD, a cheaper model, like these are the things that are going to, I think, do most of the movement in the stock. And the other piece, the actual numbers, this actual earnings report, I mean, the only thing we could get out of this potentially is some positive surprise. Maybe one of those like big guiding items are on this that say, hey, maybe there's a picture of the of the approval they got for June for Austin. Look at this. We have the approval to operate in June. How cool is this? Maybe it's like, hey, Model 3 and Y are now $5,000 cheaper or $10,000 cheaper. You can go buy it now from Tesla.com or whatever. Something like that could potentially have a very big positive surprise. But I don't know.
I don't think price cuts would be a positive surprise. I think the market would hate that.
You know what? Fair enough. Fair. See, because and this is what's interesting about Wall Street in my head. In my head, it's like, well, if they have cheaper vehicles, that's more self-driving revenue they'll have on the road, because that's more self-driving units they can produce. But the market's
Wall
looking
Street
at
will say, demand issues, gross margin pressure, all that stuff.
That's fair. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Just what do you guys think? Are we gonna we don't know about what the earnings are going to be, but at the end of the day, are we going to be green or red? Make it binary.
I think we're going to be green because I think we're going to get positive Elon. We're going to get really good guidance and very good things said about FSD unsupervised, robotaxi, sort of that next leg of the story, which is automation and robotics and artificial intelligence. I think we'll get a lot of great guidance on there. Maybe we'll get some commentary around the order book being strong based on the post that Elon made this morning about like the shrug around, they keep running negative stories and the sales keep growing. He put that shrug up post that we shared earlier in the stream. So who knows? Maybe, I feel like it's a lot of the negativity is priced in. But I could be wrong. Yeah, I know.
Hans, red or green?
Whatever I say, the opposite happens. So it's going to go red. How about that?
I told my friend that. I said, don't worry. I bought some protection, so we'll be up. And
yeah, there you go.
I'm fine with that. I'll love that. Hans, what do you think?
Yeah, I bought calls, so I guess I have to say it'll probably be red.
I got plenty of leaps. Don't worry. Leaps are not an issue on my end. But I'm more so
I bought a weekly
shares.
call. That's not the same.
Oh yeah, no, that's different. Matt, if you're allowed to say, I don't know what your rules are.
You gotta do a disclaimer before he says that.
Yeah, disclaimer, not investment advice. Oh yeah, we are spiking up. What's going on? I think we're gonna go up, Nico.
At the end.
All right, what's going on? What do we have here?
Do we get a spike?
Yeah.
No.
244.
Yeah, it's spiking.
Yeah, but that's not a Tesla spike.
That's
It's out. It must be out.
That's an
Must
earnings
be out.
report drops.
Us plebs always get it last. We're refreshing, guys. We're trying to get this as quickly as we can. We don't have a direct T1 line to freaking Bloomberg terminal or whatever the frick they get this. So we'll have to wait.
We need to
Oh,
get
3%.
to. We need to get to like 260. 260, and that's a really big deal.
Here we go. Da-da-da-da. You guys can see it?
Ooh, you got it.
Yep.
No,
And we're
hold
red.
on.
Ooh, I'm a bigger pleb than you. I still don't have it. All right, let's
here
try
we go.
again.
All right. Can you guys see that?
And we're down 2%.
Okay. Here we go. All right. 400 million gap operating income, 400 million gap net income, 0.9 billion non-gap net income, cash flow of 2.2 billion, free cash flow of 0.7, 0.4 billion increase in our cash. Very good. Model Y ramp outpacing all past ramps. Megafactory Shanghai produce more than 100 megapacks. Model 3, Model Y, and Cybertruck now drive autonomously from production line to outbound lots in Fremont and Giga, Texas. Right now, the stock is flat.
Oh, shit. Oh, sorry.
Okay. What? You can curse. It's okay.
I went straight to product. Plans for new vehicles, including more affordable models, remain on track for start production in the first half of 2025.
What page is that?
It's scroll. I don't know. Page 10. I always go straight to product.
Yeah. All right. Page 10. Here we go.
Non-GAAP earnings per share 27 cents. So that's a lot lower than expectations.
What's the stock doing right now? Stock's down about 1%.
We're flat, dude. We're flat.
Yeah,
This is actually a pretty good move right now. Like being flat is amazing right now.
That's weird. Okay. Here we go.
I just have to call this out. Most important number: net income, $420 million.
That's amazing. All right, we're officially going to have an amazing quarter or amazing call.
That's
okay.
That's low, right? That's really low.
420?
Yeah. It's low.
Yeah, it's usually in the billions. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Product plans for new vehicles, including more affordable models, remain on track for starter production in the first half of 2025. So this verbiage is exactly the same. They haven't changed. So this Q3 thing that people were talking about doesn't seem like it's the case. So we'll get clarification on the call. These vehicles will utilize aspects of the next generation platform as well as aspects of our current platforms that will be produced on the same manufacturing lines as our current vehicle lineup. This approach will result in achieving less cost reduction than previously expected, but enables us to prudently grow our vehicle volumes in a more capex efficient manner during uncertain times. This should help us fully utilize our current expected maximum capacity of close to 3 million vehicles, enabling more than 60% growth over 2024 production before investing in new manufacturing lines. Our purpose-built robotaxi product Cybercab will continue to pursue a revolutionary unboxed manufacturing strategy and is scheduled for volume production starting in 2026. Has anything changed on this?
Nothing. It's verbatim.
Nothing. It's literally the same thing. Okay.
And that's to me, that's the call right there. Like as far as negative things, that to me that puts the
fear at risk. At rest.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Like the growth and the new vehicle and more affordable models.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and read this sort of summary, company summary from Tesla. Right now, the stock is flat. And after it's literally down 0.22%. Like no. Okay, so the call is everything, which we expected. The call is going to be absolutely everything. Okay. In Q1, we accomplished an industry first, simultaneously changing over production lines across all factories for the world's best-selling vehicle, the Model Y. The Tesla team successfully ramped our production lines across 4 factories while managing supply chains across 3 continents without any major disruptions, demonstrating the advancement of our operational supply chain management capabilities. AI is a major pillar of growth for Tesla and the broader economy and key to our pursuit of sustainable abundance. Sort of this is new. This is something that came out of Elon's all hands meeting for Q1. So good to see that this has made it in here. Furthermore, AI infrastructure is driving rapid load growth, which, along with traditional utility customer applications, is creating an outsized opportunity for our energy storage products to stabilize the grid, shift energy when it is needed most, and provide additional power capacity. So this is a pretty bullish statement around energy. I think.
By the way, I was just doing some quick math on their energy revenues, their energy side of the business. They had 29% gross margin, so very strong. So that's been growing really strong, obviously. So that definitely helps.
That's big. While the current tariff landscape will have a relatively larger impact on our energy business compared to automotive, we are taking actions to stabilize the business in the medium to long term and focus on maintaining its health. Okay. So they're definitely saying energy is going to be impacted. So maybe not this quarter, maybe in the next couple quarters, we'll see some hits to gross margin. Uncertainty in the automotive and energy markets continues to increase as rapidly evolving trade policy adversely impacts the global supply chain and cost structure of Tesla and our peers. This is a direct call out to the Trump strategy around tariffs currently. This dynamic, along with changing political sentiment, interesting. Changing political sentiment could have a meaningful impact on demand for our products in the near term. What do you guys think about that?
That's not good. That's not strong language.
So they're basically saying it's like, hey, people that hate Elon or hate what he's doing from a politics standpoint, it could impact demand. I'm curious to see if we're going to get additional verbiage. I mean, that's what it sounds like to me. Along with changing political sentiment could have meaningful impact on demand for our products in the near term. We remain committed to expanding our business model to include delivering autonomous robots across multiple form factors and use cases, powered by our real-world AI expertise to our customers and for use in our factories as we navigate these headwinds. Now, I'm very curious to see what this means, because this statement right here, if it really goes, if it's in direct sort of thing to like, hey, our car sales are literally going down because of the politics side of Elon sort of taking sides with one aisle, goes directly opposite of what Elon posted this morning or with the shrug thing, where it's like, hey, people keep writing negative things about us and their sales keep going up. We'll see. I'm quite certain this is going to get addressed on the call. In the face of, but not good, but this is not confidence inspiring in the slightest. In the face of near-term profitability hurdles, the low-cost, localized manufacturing base that we have built provides advantages in delivering the best products at the right price to our customers globally. We continue to make critical, high-value investments while maintaining a strong balance sheet during this uncertain period. Okay. Any takeaways there? Any comments y'all want to make based on that? Stock is down 0.7%. Oh, no, stock's flat. Stock
is up
0.12%.
Do you know about math?
I do not.
I feel like that statement in there was just I feel like there's a bigger reason they did that, like something for one of the, like a lawsuit that might come or something.
You think so? Okay. Go ahead, Matt.
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, I think you hit it, Farzad, when you said it's not confidence inspiring. I mean, as I'm reading this, it would seem logical to me that they're having issues with demand. Maybe they're not selling as many of the new Model Ys as they were hoping. They might. I know you can still get one in 1 to 3 weeks right now, and obviously we've got inventory built up already for Cybertruck, for S and X, for Model 3. So if the order rate is really low as a result of all this political stuff and macro and whatever else, we might have a pretty weak Q2 potentially. Is kind of how I'm reading that, both in terms of volumes and by implication by margins also.
Yeah.
Sorry to do this to you. Slide 22 is the coolest slide.
22?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Bot manufacturing.
Fremont
pilot production.
Production for Optimus. Optimus looks different, doesn't it?
That's a Gen 3 design for sure. The shoulders are different.
So cool.
Like that is definitely different.
That's nice.
Yeah, this looks so cool.
That's nice. Okay. Stock is currently up 1%. Okay. So people
it's red.
Shut up. Get out of here. Up 1%. Go away. Okay. So when you did the math, Matt, you said that energy came in at 29%.
Yeah.
Which is
so you have
4 points higher than previous quarter?
I should have my model pulled up. I don't have it. But yeah, I believe it is a bit higher than the last quarter.
Okay. And then auto gross margin would have been down technically, because if this is flat because of energy going up, then auto probably came in a point or two lower. So we'll crunch some numbers here in a little bit. All right, what else?
I think energy last quarter was 24.7%. So it's very meaningful improvement to go 5% higher than that.
Right. Let's see if there's anything else in here that we think it's worth bringing up as we go through. Let's see.
I was gonna piggyback on Matt's comments from earlier about I think segmenting the demand by like Cybertruck S and X versus 3 and Y is probably very accurate, that they probably are seeing demand reduction for those more expensive models that are typically, the customer base for those is going to be more left-leaning, more affluent, more city, versus the more affordable 3 and Y platform, which are probably seeing increases in demand, or at least potentially could be seeing increases in demand. So, I think that's a great call out, and especially since those other higher priced vehicles are, they have a meaningful impact on profitability of autos overall, even though they make up a smaller volume.
There is a note on slide 9 too that the mega factory Shanghai volumes did not contribute to quarterly deployments, but the factory produced over 100 megapacks, with the megapacks en route to a customer. So that's pretty nice. Honestly, probably a little bit higher than I would have expected. So I mean, that's just at 3.9 megawatt hours per. That's 390 megawatt hours. It's small in the grand scheme of the overall deployments, but I think that speaks really well to how quickly they've ramped up output out of there. So I think that's pretty encouraging. But yeah, I think the bigger concern with energy is probably supply disruptions and how that might impact things going forward.
Got it. It is pretty interesting to see that now energy is the gross margin bellwether for the company until FSD kicks in, hopefully.
Yeah, well, they've just tried to spur demand on the auto side with price cuts and nothing else. I mean, I've been saying for years now, I think they really should do some more advertising as opposed to only these price cuts. But yeah, I think if they had done a little bit of that, maybe the gross margin pressure wouldn't be quite so strong.
Yeah.
But I think in the long run, it probably won't matter too much, because FSD revenue is really what does matter to the overall story.
Yeah. Anything interesting in here with so this is Optimus Gen 3, new shoulder design. I'm guessing this is going to have the new hand with the 22 degrees of freedom, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and when you zoom in, there's an interesting little sleeve around the arm. And
here?
Guess, so yeah, on both of those two lower. Yeah, zoom in on the back of her head, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, you can see that.
That can be.
That little sleeve that's around there. My guess is that's a device to help them string cables, because there's going to be tons and tons of cable actuators right there in the forearm for that 22 degree of freedom hand. And that sleeve could potentially be part of the assembly that's inside there, but I don't think that's likely. I think that's actually an assistive device that she's using to help do the cable stringing.
Got it. Cool. I mean, this is actually awesome that they're showing us this. And so you can see that the head design too is sort of very similar to the promo picture that Tesla put up of the sort of new head design with the light coming down here and the side of the head or whatever.
So one of the big takeaways from this picture is that Tesla's making a lot of progress on Optimus and the design of Optimus and the manufacturing of Optimus that they are not willing to show us. So the reason that we haven't seen anything is not because they're not making progress. The reason is they've decided they would like to keep the progress that they're making mostly under wraps. And then you get this one picture, like there's going to be companies that are blowing this picture up and trying to dissect all kinds of information out of it or extract information out of it. But this is going to be the extent of what they get. And I think that's why we don't see videos of this particular version of the bot running around is because they're trying to keep most of that stuff closer to the vest right now, with just the insane amount of competition that is really developing in the humanoid robotic space, both here in the United States but also in China.
Trying to look around the factory to see if there's anything else that's interesting that might.
I mean, you guys probably noticed this, but it took me a second. That line of people working on it, there's another line right on the other side of it of people working as well. I didn't really notice that for a second.
Yeah. Interesting.
And you can see more of the full Optimus with that one guy.
This guy on the right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Cool. I wonder if so I think that's a great observation. There is they are being very sneaky about bot because there's so many startups, there's so many new entrants coming in, and anything they give away could potentially be mimicked by somebody else relatively quickly, especially in China. So, and I mean, humanoid robots are, down, like in a few years, they're going to be a gigantic national security risk because you're essentially manufacturing the labor force of your country. The last thing you want is to, let a competing country manufacture all your labor or be 100% dependent on your competitor for labor. Kind of what's happening right now with China. Everything's made in China. So anyway, okay. Anything else that's interesting from this earning? A very sort of.
So go to page 7.
Yeah,
Barzad. There at the very top of page 7. Says, as guided switchover of production lines for the new Model Y resulted in several weeks of lost production, but during the switchover, we also prepared our factories for the launch of new models later this year. Given economic uncertainty resulting from changing trade policy, more affordable options are as critical as ever.
Okay. Interesting.
Doesn't sound like a delay to me.
Doesn't sound like a delay at all.
Especially with the 60% still in there.
Do you think we'll get new trims on Thursday? Or do you think this is going to be like a product unveil in June?
Thursday?
Like, how Thursdays, usually that's when they update the website and whatever.
Oh, I was kind of thinking that they might show something today.
Okay, so it might go live with a call?
It's a webcast, right? Like, does that mean video?
No, they never do video.
I know, but I don't know. Maybe I read too much into it, but when they said a company update, it just kind of felt different.
I just think Elon's just gonna say some extra words.
Oh,
I could be wrong. I mean, if they actually update their earnings thing to have video and high quality audio for once, my God. Like, that would be the most exciting development for me.
I mean, it does say livestream.tesla.com if you go to the link.
Really?
Yeah.
How did I miss this?
I don't know. Wake up, man.
that baby brain.
It's true.
My baby's younger than his.
Yeah, Matt knows all of it. Matt's got 17th, like 6-month-olds over there.
My baby's younger than all of yours.
That's true. Hey, by the way, congratulations to Nick and his expecting wife. How exciting is that?
I can't wait to join the club. I got a lot of work to do to catch up to Matt, but at least I'm in the game now.
I'm not even going to try. Just keep in mind, if you try to keep up with Matt, you'll end up looking like him, and that's the last thing you want. Just look at him. See?
Matt,
sure you want that?
This can be a really weird comment to give another guy, but like, dude, you must have some specimens. Like,
not good.
Like, I'm just saying, like, I'm telling you, it wasn't easy for us. But like, Matt, like you don't miss. You're like Steph Curry out there.
Yeah, that is a little weird comment to give another person. You had the perfect intro for that comment.
Yeah. Thanks for nothing, Nick. Really,
I'm nothing if not honest.
Here's the livestream.tesla.com Tesla Q1 2025 financial results and Q&A webcast.
Doesn't this feel different?
It feels different, but it could just be like how amazing would it be if it's literally the same thing and it's just audio?
Or maybe we could be really excited for like an hour.
Yeah.
and live with that hour and then be disappointed.
Yeah. So stock's down 0.69% in after hours. It's been doing a lot of up and down, up and down. Looks like we are cratering downwards now. So cratering downwards, bro.
It's a micro crater.
$1.50.
Fair enough. Okay.
Wait, can I say one thing real quick? Just in case it is a video and just in case they do show us something. I've said this and everyone's crapped on me for saying this, but I do have this theory that the Cybercaps we've seen driving around that have the red calipers is the new model, and that they have been using the exterior of the Cybercab to camouflage it, and they would just put on new trim on the exterior for whatever this other vehicle is. Not saying it's right. I'm just saying it's a theory.
Like completely different panels?
Yeah. Different glass, different panels, different doors. It's just camouflage.
It looked,
but everything else would be the same.
I don't know. The Cybercab looks pretty tight. Like when we see those things, it just looks like if that is something using as camouflage, man, they went through the effort to make it camouflage. But it could be listen, it could be the thing that, Cybercab
like for all you know, it's just the battery pack that makes it different, so it's more elongated. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just saying, like, it's a theory, working theory.
Yeah.
The red calipers threw me off. Like, why is there only a couple that have red calipers, but the rest don't? Why even bother putting that on the Cybercab?
Yeah.
Like, did you just be the only tires, or was there something there?
Their performance cars are not selling as much as the regular cars, and they have more performance red calipers running, left over, so they use those for their mules.
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. All right. So the stock has done basically nothing since the
which we love.
Earnings report came out, which is kind of what we expected. All the magic is going to happen at the earnings call, most likely, which is going to start in about an hour. We'll cover it right here on this call. The numbers were not great, as we expected. Tesla reported lower gross margin on auto quarter over quarter. They did report higher gross margin on energy by about 5 points, 500 basis points. The net income and cash flow and all those numbers were lower than previous quarters for the last few years, at least. So from an earnings perspective, which all of us expected, and from an EPS and earnings per share perspective, it was also at the lower bound of analyst expectations, Matt, right? 0.24? 24 cents, was it?
I'm sorry. I was looking at something in the thing and ignoring what you're saying. Can you say that again?
EPS came in 24 cents.
28, I wanted to say.
Yeah, 23, 24, something like that.
Oh.
27.
27. Okay.
Yep.
I just realized something.
Which is significantly lower than the previous quarters. What's up? What did you realize?
I don't think this is a theory. I think this is 100% correct.
Confident.
I bet money on this. When they were doing the changeover for the new Model Y, they were also probably making adjustments to a line they needed for the more affordable vehicle or the new version. Because it says here that during the switchover, we also prepared our factories for the launch of the new models.
Where were you at like 5 minutes ago?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, they used that window of time. So what I'm saying is,
he said it. It's his. Give him credit. He's saying it now. He
yes.
came up with it.
Good job.
We're up, by the way.
Oh man! All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. We have about 3,600 of you on YouTube. A little bit more, actually. 3,700 of you on YouTube between the channels. 15,000 on X. I believe that's cumulative views, but if it's not, great. Come on in, everybody. In about half an hour, in exactly 31 minutes, we're going to do a giveaway. Okay, everybody? We're going to do a giveaway for my wonderful community. Not a sponsor. We have a Tesla wall connector to give away to all our Tesla fans that are out there as a huge thank you for being such a great supporter of this channel and this thing that we're doing, which is just talking. And the condition to win this wall charger in about half an hour. So think of your best answers for this. is whoever can come up with the best joke for Matt's face will win this wall connector. Okay? We're going to choose the best ones. We're going to bring in the community. And the one who comes up with the best joke wins this wonderful wall connector. Oh, and another one too. Make sure you have an X account because I want to ask the winner to give me their handle for their X account so I can DM them so I can get their address so we can ship this over. Okay? So make sure you are here in about half an hour. We're going to do a giveaway of this Tesla wall connector. The winner will be the one that has made the best joke about Matt's face, which is going to be a very easy thing to do. I understand. But we're going to have a lot of competition. So, you know,
I've seen a couple good ones so far.
I saw them too. Your forehead seems to be a theme.
Forehead's a big theme. Or 5-head, as I think somebody said.
I'm very excited.
Yeah, there was one. I think the winner so far, I forget exactly what it was, but it was something like, you know, Matt's face is about as remarkable and uncommon as his name. Yeah, that's pretty good.
All right, so now we kind of have to ban that one. Like nobody can say that one, dude. You just took somene's like amazing joke away.
Just bring it back.
You're literally making it worse. You're literally making it worse right now.
You know what? I've been on this thing for like half an hour and we are already deep off the rails. We got like 3 hours to go. This is going to be a wild one.
This is what happens every time you join this one. Just go. Yeah. It goes off the rails quick. So yeah, thank you all very much for joining. Of course, I still find it fascinating that there are many people out there that still think Matt and I are being serious when we go at each other like this. Matt, I love Matt to death. He's one of the most beautiful people I've ever met. He's a wonderful family man. He's incredibly kind, incredibly smart. He's just so easy to make fun of. I mean, just look at him. It's a piece of cake.
I almost preferred it when you never said the nice things and we just like kept up that front because it seemed like about 10% of the commenters on X were like, guys, you need to like calm down. That's like really uncalled for.
You guys are being so rude to each other.
I just love those ones. It was great.
There was this one post on X today that said that it's scientifically proven that friends who are able to make fun of each other or people that are able to make fun of each other have stronger bonds because there's like more trust, you know, because hey, I'm going to highlight your whatever, like the thing that I'm going to make fun of. Right. So it's like being able to joke with each other means that there is a level of trust there. So, but
I saw that thing that you're talking about. I do think that's actually true. And like some jokes have like a little kernel of truth in them, and I think that's actually a helpful way to keep your friends in check. Like to be honest with them, like, hey, you should work on this little thing because it's maybe not super attractive quality that you have. And it's if you do it in like a friendly roasting kind of fashion, it's like all right, I'll work on that.
Yeah, because guys, and unfortunately for you were born with it, so it's.
Yeah. So, anyways, I do think more roasting of friends should be common. And
yes, I agree.
You are the worst.
Thank you. I reserve my best insults for my best friends. That's what I like to say. All right, everybody, go ahead.
I got a joke.
Okay, go.
I love you, Matt. Matt Smith's rebellionaire face is so tragically basic. It's like God skimped on the budget for charisma. Those Michigan cheekbones scream, "Discount Dad," so loud, even Good Soil's riskiest hedge fund wouldn't invest in that smirk.
Is that Grok?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell. Yeah, 0 out of 10 garbage. Delete that shit.
You should have seen the other ones.
I've never heard of Michigan cheekbones before. That's those classic Michigan cheekbones. So embarrassing.
Usually jokes and YouTube titles go hand in hand. It's like the shorter the better. It's got to be like, got to punch you right in the face. From experience. Anyway,
Matt's got a face like a YouTube thumbnail. Does that work? Punch in the face.
I mean, that means he's doing something right. I mean, he's getting clicks, so I feel like that works to his advantage if that's the case. Okay, let's pull out some comments. Yeah, let's see what the crowd thinks. We have about 1 trillion people watching us right now. Let's say, put a comment. Let us know your thoughts about Tesla's earnings so far. What you're thinking. What you expect from the call. Yeah. Curious to see what everybody has to say, and we'll get back on track here before we go too far off the other side. I don't know if there's anything else y'all stumbled upon on the earnings report. I feel like it was sort of limited on stuff. But
the only thing I saw that is like, it's hard to like put any of this in context because we know we had the downtime, we know it's the first quarter, all this stuff, right? But they did highlight multiple times that there's higher regulatory credit revenue. I didn't even look up what the regulatory credit revenue was, but they highlighted that like 3 times.
It was pretty consistent with previous quarters. I think it was around 600 million, which is about where it had been. So
yeah. So without that, the quarter would not have been great.
Yeah, it would have been unprofitable.
Well, that is one of the interesting things about regulatory credit revenue is that when everything goes to hell in a handbasket in the automotive industry, it's one of the like things that's negatively correlated with that. So, you know, as companies aren't able to sell compliant vehicles, they have to buy more credits, and those compliant vehicles are some of the first ones to get cut. So that's helpful. I wanted to look at page 8 just real quick and highlight on the artificial intelligence and software hardware headline. It says, obviously we remain on track for pilot launch of robotaxi in Austin by June. But then here's the interesting part. And builds of Optimus on our Fremont pilot production line in 2025 with wider deployment of bots doing useful work across our factories. I think that's you know, information we've heard before, but good to see it called out and highlighted here in the release.
Do y'all think the stock is pricing robots in at all?
No.
Yeah, not much.
Like
no,
humanoids.
If it's only pricing in a fraction of autonomy, which I think is true, then it's a much lower fraction of humanoids that it would be pricing in. So, I mean, I think there's certainly some AI premium here for, you know, let's just call it future initiatives that are beyond where just the core car business is. I think, you know, when you look at their earnings growth or lack thereof, it's like apparent that there's a premium being placed on here for a reason. But I don't think it's anything close to like the actual potential. And I don't think it will be until it actually starts becoming a meaningful contributor to the bottom line.
Yeah. And we know, I mean, we're all on the same page that the impact is going to come in through Tesla being able to increase their profitability by deploying these internally first, right? We don't expect any outside revenue to come in first. It's going to be impact to the bottom line for the probably like in the next 12 to 18 months. Like how long do we think before these things get shipped out to other customers?
Well, wasn't he talking about this year doing some limited tests in customer hands and then ramping up next year and ramping up a lot more in 27? So I think it's going to be minimal this year, but I think it's more proof of concept. Like if it actually works and, you know, you can just say, you show it some task that it's never done and be like, oh, I want you to like, I don't know, put all these groceries away, or to like, this is how we do this one particular station at a, you know, an assembly plant. And then you like show the thing how to do it and it just can handle that. And it's not like you got to train it on, you know, a big data center for thousands of hours. And I think if people believe the economics, it'll get priced in a little bit before. So I don't know what that's going to look like, but I think if Tesla actually has the goods, it'll start to get priced in.
For that, not to delay the comments, but can we take a step back here real quick and like just what are we about to see? Because we saw in this shareholder deck that they're still going to be doing new vehicles. They're still on track for the first half of this year, which means any month now, right? Like that's like now. And we've got a link that probably has a video on it right now. Like, are we about to see something? Like, I don't think I'm like I don't think I'm overly optimistic saying that.
Nobody's going to be able to see anything over Matt's head.
You can't win it, okay? You can't burn yourself.
Yeah, you can't win your own giveaway, bro.
I already have a wall connector. I guess I don't need one.
Matt's like, I've heard more of these than you guys could come up with.
I
don't know. I mean, we'll see. I mean, I think we are. I personally think we are like that. You're talking about the specific link. You're talking about the thing with the live stream.
Forget about the link. I don't care about that. We are going to be seeing a new vehicle in a month, in a week.
Yes,
in 2 months.
Lower trims, like lower trims.
It's not. Oh my god.
That's my theory. I really think. Again, I go back to the thing is like, it's to me, it makes, again, unless your theory is correct, that the new vehicle is a camouflaged in front of your face cybercab, that they're camouflaging with the body panels, and they're coming up with they're using the same exact body panels they're using for the cybercab, and then for this new version, they're going to use completely different body panels. That to me, I don't know. I feel like that is such an crazy thing to do.
Forget about that one. Forget about that theory. Okay, put a pin in that one. What I'm saying though is, if you go back to the slide where they talk about that, my reading comprehension tells me that they say two different things. They say new vehicles, and then they also talk about more affordable models as two different things. That's how I read that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Bring it up.
Yeah, I mean, it's always said that, and I've always had that same, that there's going to be new, more expensive. Like, one of the things that I've always wondered is, are they going to finally start selling the new Roadster at the same time that they're releasing a new lower price vehicle? Like, at least some of these trims have to be at, if not above, the price point of 3s and Ys.
Yeah, read that. Plans for new vehicles, including more affordable models. So even if you're talking about the 3 and Y are stripped down, those aren't new vehicles.
They are more affordable models.
But yeah, it says including more affordables.
I was where I was
for new vehicles, including.
I was where you were at. Okay, until I didn't see like
till
months
Reuters
ago, the joystick, right? Okay.
Oh my god.
But listen,
you think my cybercab thing is crazy, and you're over here with the joystick.
Well, I'm learning from my mistakes. Okay, listen, you still haven't learned from yours. So the way I'm reading this is plans for new vehicles, including more affordable models. So now you have a set that has more affordable models. That set remains on track for start of production in the first half of 2025. So then from that set, if the subset of that set, which is the more affordable models, come to fruition this first half of the year, which those more affordable models are the cheaper 3 and Y is what I think, then this statement is still 100% correct. You know what I'm saying?
Then why would they tell us, if it's just going to be stripped down, why would they tell us that the new models, the new vehicles, are going to be built on the same lines as the 3 and Y? If it's just stripped down, why would you even mention that? That's irrelevant.
It's to let the investing base know that you're maximizing your current capacity.
So one of my theories / hopes is that there is a legitimate 3-row SUV variant in the works. So that is, and probably built on a Model Y chassis, and that's going to be the more expensive model. And that then there's going to be also, like, on the high end, you get a 7 or like a 3-row, a legit 3-row Model Y. And on the low end, you get a Model 3 hatch, like Model 3 hot hatch.
I hope so. But where are these cars testing for roadworthiness and safety and crash worthiness and all that stuff? Usually we get them 6 months on the road before they hit production. Where are they?
We didn't see the Cybercab.
We started seeing it in January.
Yeah, but
February.
It didn't have to go through all of the validation testing.
But these vehicles, maybe they don't have to either yet, right? Like maybe they haven't been road test them yet. But hear me out. But they're not going to start
in 25 though.
Yeah, so maybe that means July or August, or maybe that means July, right?
First half of 2025.
Yeah, so July, right? Or
June.
That'd be June technically.
Wow.
June.
Wow.
Yep.
I thought that was dumb.
Well, I'm thinking summer. Like summer's like.
Okay, let me pull up some comments now since you've derailed the conversation, Nico. With feedback.
Whenever they come on and they show us the new vehicles, I'm just gonna come on this mic and be like, "Damn, and you thought I was dumb."
Perfect. Good luck with that. It's never gonna happen. I wish you the best of luck, my friend. This one, Matt might be best equipped to talk about this one. Thoughts about the revenue stream from opening the Supercharger network? Do you think this is material?
I don't. I mean, you have to think of the size of the services business in relation to the rest of Tesla's revenue, and that's quite small. And then on top of that, you want to look at the size of these other fleets in relation to the size of Tesla's fleet to get you an idea of how much incremental charging could there be. And so you've got like total services revenue, of which supercharging is just a portion. This quarter, that was 2.6 billion. Normally it's more like 10% of the overall revenue stream. And maybe let's say that the other fleet vehicles make up 10% of the volume to a supercharger. Let's just say, then that'd be 10% of the 10%. So maybe 1% incremental new revenue. And that's something I'm too excited about.
Okay. Here's another one. Why didn't they have to report unrealized Bitcoin losses this quarter, considering they claimed unrealized Bitcoin gains last quarter? How's the accounting there work?
They did. They marked it to market. If you go on the balance sheet, there's a line on slide 28. Actually, that's the I guess that's the cash flow statement. But there's a $125 million gain this quarter on digital assets. So yeah, that's going forward. That's going to be reported. That's going to be marked to market every quarter.
Oh no, here, sorry. Right there. Okay. Cool. Thank you for that.
Conspiracy theory debunked.
Thank you for that. Let's see. Have they opened the restaurant storefront one yet? I think they had a slide about that in here. That diner charger, right? That saw it on here. Where is it? There we go. Let me go ahead and share my screen. And here we go. It says coming soon. Coming soon. So hopefully that comes soon. I didn't write this. I don't know who wrote this. I have a question. Matt's forehead is so big. Can we all sell advertisement space on it for QT? Who did that?
That's not a bad idea. Yeah.
That's a good one.
I'd lease it out.
Who's on my account right now? Is that you?
I have to have some words with producer wife.
Not
it's just
me.
Cindy back there.
Cindy, what are you doing? I love it. Okay. We have cool. About... Sorry?
Oh, no, sorry. Sawyer put up a picture of Gen 2 and Gen 3 side by side for Optimus.
Oh, let's check it out.
The very distinct difference.
Up Sawyer.
It just looks cool to see them side by side. Oh, he blocked you.
Who, Sawyer?
Yeah.
Oh, did he? Wow, look, I can see his post just fine.
I'm kidding.
Amazing. You gotta work on your jokes, bro. The photo that Tesla released today seems to be the new Gen 3 Optimus robot. Shoulder and arm look different versus Gen 2, so this is the picture. Gen 3, yeah, you can see a different shoulder. Obviously, this doesn't have any covering or anything. Yeah, this area looks different for sure. The chest plate looks different. Cool. I hope we get like more high def pictures of this, like the actual full thing soon. That'd be cool to see.
Yeah, I feel like there's so many people in the Tesla community that are like experts at Where's Waldo when they go through all the pictures.
Oh yeah,
like I'll sit there and I'll try. I'm like, where's something interesting that no one else is gonna see? And then by then earnings call, I'll be like, oh, did you see this? Oh, we missed this. Oh, this. I'm like, how do you guys find these things?
There's like 20
I feel like
things.
in that line for Optimus, I feel like there's like amazing things in there that we just don't see yet.
Yeah, I agree. Real quick, the earnings call will start in about 40 minutes with the Tesla team, the Tesla executive team, including Elon Musk, I'm sure, on the call. But in about 10 minutes, blah blah blah. In about 10 minutes, we're gonna do a giveaway on this channel. The giveaway is not a sponsor, has nothing to do with this channel whatsoever. The Tesla wall connector. We're gonna give this away to a lucky winner in the next 10 minutes, and the submissions will start promptly, exactly at 3 p.m. Central. Excuse me, 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern. 2 p.m. Pacific. Well, I will say go, and then the person that can write the best joke in the comments section about Matt's face will win. We'll do like a 2 to 3 minute window. We'll read them all as they come through. We'll have Matt pick the one he likes the best. Maybe we'll have some candidates, and maybe we'll try to get the audience's help on this. But we'll do a team effort, and then Matt, you'll be the one choosing the best joke. I'm actually
choosing the best joke?
You are choosing the best joke.
Wow. Yes. Okay. And I didn't realize that.
Yes. We're making it up as we go, Matt. And then if you are the winner, hopefully you have X, because I'm going to ask for your handle so I can DM you, and then I can get your address and not show up at your house, but ship this to your home, P.O. box, wherever you want this shipped. I will ship it to you as a huge thank you for your support and your love for the channel. In about 9 minutes now, we'll start the giveaway process where the best joke about Matt's face will win a Tesla wall connector, not a sponsor. Thank you very much. Okay.
But by the way, this is my first earnings call completely sober. I've gone sober since I had dinner with Farzad.
Wow.
Yep.
Good for you.
I had. Well,
did I leave a bad impression or something? What happened? Did something
No,
happen?
that was a long-standing date. I'm like, okay, this will be the last drink I have until we have the baby, and then we're gonna get wasted. No, I'm kidding.
Wow.
It's a good reason to be healthier. I don't drink that much anyways, but
good for you.
So all I'm saying is, you guys are gonna see the weird me, the real me. And
I was gonna say the weird you we've seen this whole time. I don't know what else we're gonna get. We got that one.
My jokes would be a lot better, Matt. I promise. Like it's not you. It's me.
So we can't blame the booze if the jokes don't land, though. This might have backfired. You shouldn't have said anything. Yeah,
this is a bad plan.
Oh no, I do my best work with the little buzz. By the way, Farzad, you can ship a wall charger, but you couldn't figure out how to ship me some beer. What's that about?
I couldn't. I literally was trying to find a place to. Did I end up sending you? No, I didn't. I didn't send you the beer. We landed with something else. That's right.
Yeah, you bought. You remember what it was?
Share.
Okay, yeah. There you go. For
a little Clivey poo.
There you go.
Yeah.
Not going too well, is it?
Yeah, jokes on him. So real quick, I was in St. Petersburg. Where was it? In Florida. We were visiting the beautiful state of Florida, and Nico and I met up for dinner, and it was awesome. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful thing. 4-2.
We played footsies.
Yeah, we played footsie. Beautiful city, by the way, for people that want to check it out. Super awesome.
Next thing we knew, your wife was pregnant. Is that how that worked?
What's that?
Yeah, it's weird. They're saying that like it already has a beard and it's kind of brown. I don't know what that's
about.
Wow. Let's switch the topic here. Okay.
Right.
So in about 7 minutes, we got the giveaway coming. Do we think we get happy Elon or angry Elon in this call? What do you guys think?
I think happy Elon.
Okay.
I think if he doesn't come happy, he's going to get fired.
Yeah.
He seems like he's been in a pretty good mood lately. I wouldn't be surprised if we get some positive vibes.
Yeah, I think last quarterly call, there was quite a negative sentiment going into the call, and then everybody thought the call was like one of the best that he's had because he came in just firing on all cylinders. He was just super psyched. Hans, what do you expect?
What'd you find?
Yeah, what are you finding over there?
I was just looking at the Optimus pictures some more, trying to see if there's anything. And yeah, I think like Nico, I'm sure there's information here that I don't understand what I'm looking at that will be interesting. The gantries are fun. They, it looks like they can move the Optimus up and down. They've got a little pulley set on there, and there's one in the back that's facing away from us, where it looks like his head is disembodied from his chest, and like he's got feet on some little roller thing that's just hanging out there and looks kind of silly. And there's one that's lying down in the back where maybe that's just a pair of legs.
Do you want to share your screen so we can?
That is funny to see.
Wow, Matt's face got even bigger.
Oh, I just realized. Oh, so that's probably how the line's going.
Yeah. So here's the pair of legs that I was talking about earlier. They're just kind of chilling, laying out here. Then this is the Optimus head, and then another pair of legs down here. It's hard to tell if maybe there's a torso underneath there, maybe not. That may be something that they're building up on that. But yeah, it looks, I think, to maybe this is what you're talking about, Nico. Like they would start down here on an end. They would progress through some stations, and it looks like these things slide down the red line in this direction as they get more and more complete. And yeah, like, so obviously, I think this station, this station, this station, and this station, those are all, there's a step that's supposed to be done at that station specifically. And so you're seeing the bot move towards you and get more and more complete towards the end. So.
And I saw Elon just reposted that picture as well, 12 minutes ago. So, what we expected, which was hey, don't look at the numbers, look at the thing that's coming. Yeah, look at the robots. That's the thing that's going to be very,
which, and I mean, I think that's good as far as the thing that I care about as a long-term investor is, hey, I want these freaking Optimus robots to work. I want them to work well, and I want them to eat the lion's portion of the market share of humanoid robotics over the next 10 years. And so if this is what he's pushing the team to work on, then I'm all for it. I know that will not make Wall Street super happy in the short term, but hey, just better buying opportunities.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about this? Language is really interesting though on slide 3, where it's talking about like uncertainty. Let me actually just read it. Uncertainty in automotive and energy markets continues to increase as rapidly evolving trade policy adversely impacts the global supply chain and the structure of Tesla and our peers. This dynamic, let's skip that part. We remain committed to expanding our business model to include delivering autonomous robots across multiple form factors and use cases, powered by our real-world AI expertise to our customers and for use in our factories as we navigate these headwinds. So it seems odd to me that, and this is something Dave Lee posted on, so I'm not trying to take credit for this, but it does seem odd to me that they're talking about multiple different form factors for humanoid robots as a response to like navigating trade headwinds. So do you think there's some acceleration of plans going on here?
I mean, what are the robots? Cars and humanoids. What do they have? Other
drones?
Well, it says delivering autonomous robots across multiple form factors and use cases.
I mean, so I think that technically can be satisfied by, if you say the robotaxi is an autonomous robot and the humanoid Optimus is an autonomous robot, then that is multiple use cases and multiple form factors. So I don't know that it means anything, but on the flip side, it may mean a lot more than that.
I mean, Elon did recently reaffirm the cat girl robot.
Yeah, so that's definitely a multiple use case.
Yeah, I mean, Cybertruck Model 3, Model Y, Cybercab, SX, Semi, Bot. These are all form factors.
Matt, give up. You're not going to get Farzad to buy on any optimism.
Optimism.
Optimism. I'm just trying to be realistic. I'm trying to be realistic.
The last thing I'll say in the reading through the letter, I was a little bit worried that there'd be some impact from the rare earth restrictions that China had introduced. I was digging into this a couple of weeks ago because it looked like there were several of these heavy elements that China was placing on their trade restriction list, which could have been used in the motors. It seemed like they probably weren't used in the battery cells. But Tesla didn't make any mention of that, so that makes me believe that that won't be an issue for them. So that's maybe a really bad risk that was unlikely that seems to have not materialized. So I'll take that as a slight positive.
Yeah.
One extra comment I wanted to make on the form factors and use cases for Optimus specifically. If what we're seeing is just extreme copying in the humanoid robotic space of Optimus, I think that could delay any sort of customer shipments. Like the first time this goes out to an external customer, the likelihood that things start getting ripped off immediately just goes through the roof. And so it may put pressure on Tesla to keep Optimus as an internal project for longer, especially if they feel like they have a differentiated lead on competitors.
Okay. It's 4:00 Central, which means that the giveaway for the Tesla wall connector, not a sponsor, literally has nothing to do with this channel. We're just fans of the company. The Tesla wall connector giveaway has officially begun. And the way you can win this wonderful prize is if you can make the best possible joke based on Matt's face. And Matt is going to pick the best joke in the comment section from X and YouTube. And the one that has the best joke will win a Tesla wall connector. Please submit your submission. The polls are officially open for the next 3 minutes. Put in your best possible joke. Oh, this is such a good idea. And then Matt will pick the best joke. Okay, and maybe with the help of the crowd, we'll figure out which ones are the best. And then hopefully the person that wins has an X account so that you can give me your handle. We'll call whoever wins here. You'll give us your X handle. I'll DM you so I can get your address and we'll ship this wall connector. Okay, so put in your submissions. Let's see which ones are coming up so far that are pretty funny. Do any of them stand out?
Are you inviting them onto the stream?
Huh?
I thought
no, on the comments, bro. In the comments.
Oh,
okay. And you can't spam. If you spam, it's an automatic ban. So you cannot spam. Alcohol. All right.
What's wrong with me?
Let's see. Matt Smith's. Oh, the dogs are getting in too. Matt Smith's darting eyes and massive shiny forehead soak up Tesla hype so bad they blind him to Tesla's real value. Not bad.
All right. That's a good submission.
Peony, come on, stop it. Oh my God, sorry guys. Matt looks like he
ran out of ink 4 kids ago. That's a pretty good one. Yeah.
Good one. Which one?
Definitely light on the pigment right now. Yeah. Let's see. I was waiting for you to pull them up, but I mean, look.
There's so many coming in.
There's a lot. Yeah, it looks like a prepubescent teen trapped in a 40-year-old's body. That's not bad.
What else we got here? Oh, we got Larry. Larry, we got a giveaway going right now.
Oh, what am I getting?
We're giving away Tesla wall connector to the commenter that can make the best joke about Matt's face.
About Matt's face? Well, I've got 3 wall connectors in my garage. I can't take any more.
Okay.
But Larry's made a lot of jokes about my face. He's already won several.
Let's see. Matt's face is so big on the screen, I thought I accidentally opened Google Earth and zoomed in on forehead province. Okay, not bad, not bad. Let's see. Why did the Tesla crash into the wall? Because it saw your face and went into ludicrous mode trying to escape. Okay. Matt's face is like Tesla Q1 earnings. Disappointing, but somehow people are still invested. Okay.
I think that's the front runner right now.
That's pretty good.
That is pretty good. All right. Potter's got the lead
so far. Okay. Let's see. Matt's face is proof that even evolution has bad days. All right. Pretty good.
My progeny would have something to say about evolution here.
All right. So Potter's in the lead. All right, we got a minute and a half more for submissions. So keep putting in your submissions. Let's see. Matt Smith's face looks like it tried to NFT itself, but even the blockchain said, "Nah, I'm good." Don't even understand that. Thank you for trying very much. Appreciate your support. Okay. Matt's face. It could be worse. He could look like Farzad. All right. Not bad. Not bad. Matt's
Pandering to the judge. Ejected.
Matt's baby blue eyes look like the ocean that Tesla earnings just fell into. That's kind of a compliment. So we don't accept that at all. Not good. Matt's face looks like Tesla Q.
QT.
Whoa.
Okay. Now
Matt's okay. This is a pretty good one. Oh,
wait.
If Matt's face was a spice, it would be flour.
That's pretty good. Where's that one? Who put that one?
It's Juan Del Muro.
Okay. I like the one you have up here. This is funny.
What's the difference between Matt's face and chickpea? But where's the answer?
That's because his face looks like a chickpea.
All right. 30 more seconds, y'all. Put in your submissions. Whoever can come up with the best joke. Right now, I think is Potter in the lead right now?
I think Potter's in the lead, yeah.
Okay, so we got Tesla well connected. 30 more seconds to supersede Potter as the best joke about Matt's face. About 25 seconds now.
I know, there's a lot. I'm trying to scroll fast.
I love this community. You guys are awesome. I love you so much. You guys are great.
Matt, what am I doing here?
Matt's face after Tesla earnings looks like a young version of Hide the Pain Harold. Don't even know who that is.
Matt's face looks like Elon on Ozempic. That's a pretty good one.
Explains all the kids.
Oh, wait, we got the answer for the chickpea one. I literally this comment section is moving so fast right now. Okay. All right. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right.
Potter.
That's it. Potter's the winner?
Yep, I think so.
Potter is the winner. What was the joke?
Can we find it? That's the real question.
Oh my God. We gotta find the joke now. Potter, redo your joke on the comment section so that we can pull it back up because what was the it was pretty good. I remember seeing it. It was pretty damn good.
But Q1.
All right.
We're still invested.
What was it? Matt's face looks like almost as bad as Q1.
Is that ugly as Q1?
All right.
But we're still invested.
Where's Potter? Potter, repost your joke so we can pull it back up so we remember exactly what it was. Something about Q1. Anyway, congratulations, Potter. You have won a Tesla wall connector. Please list your handle in the comment section below. So we can your X handle so I can reach out to you.
It's there now.
And what's up?
It's there now.
Where is it?
Matt's face is like Tesla Q1 earnings disappointing, but somehow people are still invested.
It's so good.
That's really good.
That's so good.
That one definitely deserved to win. That was outstanding.
Go. Potter, congratulations, man. That was fantastic. Well done. Yeah, list your handle. Write in your in here your X handle, and then I will reach out to you, and I will send you this brand new in the box seal Tesla wall connector. Not a sponsor. Thank you very much. Okay, that was awesome.
Not stolen.
Not stolen. Yeah, it's completely brand new, legally acquired Tesla wall connector. Okay. And then we'll just wait for his handle. Hans, if you don't mind, can you keep your eyes open on the chat for me? Or if you're in the middle of something.
Well, I think maybe it would be a good time to ask Larry what his reaction to the letter, the shareholder letter was.
Good call.
I was pretty comfortable with almost every number. I liked some of the language about the change in Tesla's business model, that that they're going to make robots for multiple use cases and multiple formats, which indicates that they're thinking beyond just humanoid robots and the cars They're thinking in terms of all kinds of real world AI. In general, I thought that it met expectations, not the actual formal dollars or cents that are earnings per share, but margins were reasonable in the circumstance of a launch. In fact, given the rate of launch, it's amazing how they were able to maintain margins. Certainly, the actual figures, the actual presentation gave the bears a lot of fodder, and they certainly fed on it. And I saw, for example, Bloomberg had a whole lot of statements by a whole lot of journalists or correspondents saying how bad this was and how bad that was. But on balance, I think it delivered what the market was expecting, and I think for that reason, the stock maintained its value probably better than most earnings calls. And everything now turns on Elon, and you're going to see the stock dip and rise with almost every sentence. And if the good Elon turns up, I think it'll be good for the stock. If the bad Elon turns up, I think the stock could drop 20, 30 points.
Yeah, I think the overarching theme sort of we landed at was, which turned out to be correct, is the earnings report itself will probably not have too much, and it's all about the call. The call will be everything, right, which is going to start here in about 19 minutes. So if you're waiting with us right now, we're going to switch over to the earnings call here in about 19 minutes. We're all going to be listening to it together. We're going to gather notes, what we think of the call. We're going to stream it right on here. They're using a new link this time to show the earnings call. So we're curious to see if it's actually going to be video. I highly doubt it, but we'll see. And then we'll see what the Tesla executive team has to say. Potter, I'm still waiting for your handle, for your X handle in the comments. So if you want to list that in the comments, that would be great. Or if you can send me a DM as well, if you're verified on X, I will make sure to check it out on there. And if those two don't work, then let me know so that we can figure out a different way to get your address so I can ship this to you. Okay, so Tesla stock right now. By the way, Larry, welcome back, sir. Thank you for coming back. We are at 0.39%. Up 0.39% in after hours, so basically flat, and we're waiting to see what comes from the call. So do we have any predictions on what we're going to hear on the call? What are we thinking? Are we going to get timeline for unsupervised rollout for the entire fleet? Are we going to get a reconfirmation for Austin Robotaxi? What are we thinking? Matt, I saw you came off mute.
Yeah, I think they're going to talk a lot about AI. I mean, that was the one thing kind of, if I could distill the entire letter, it was kind of short-term caution around, demand and volumes, but with optimism around how they're going to deliver on these, these robots that we were just talking about of the various form factors. So my sense is they're going to really try to upsell that. And just so you know, as far as Potter's handle went in there, so make sure you grab that. So I think they're going to talk a lot about the Austin rollout. I think they're going to talk a lot about some of the stuff they're trying to do with Optimus. But I think my suspicion is it will not be very specific because to our conversation earlier, they're not going to want to give away any of the secret sauce. But I mean, I think right now the reality is Tesla is a story stock. I mean, this earnings report is not great. That there's reasons for it. The short-term outlook looks not great, and there's reasons for that also. But so the story, and frankly, why we are invested in Tesla is all around these amazing capabilities that they have in AI. And anyone who's driving a hardware forward vehicle with the latest version of FSD around now knows that they've basically solved autonomy. Like I think it is a safer driver than I am at this point, which is really saying something. And I'm sure Tesla has the stats to bear that out. So I think they've got
Are you
extreme
saying that
credibility.
your driving is better than your face?
Well, that's a low bar, but yes. So yeah, I mean, it just seems like we're actually right on this precipice of something we've been talking about for years, and now we've arrived at this precipice at a moment where the fundamentals of the business are pretty, I would say, rocky territory right now, just because of all the stuff going on with macro and politics and everything. So I think there's the focus is going to be very heavily on Optimus and FSD, I would think.
Anybody else? Any thoughts? Yes? No? All right. I guess we wait. About 15 minutes. 15 minutes for the earnings call.
I think we should open a lottery on how far the stock will fall and rise during Elon's discussion on the call.
I think we'll get a 10-point swing.
10-point swing in both directions, so a total of a 20-point swing, or
no,
5
total
point?
of a 10. Total
of 10. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it may be larger.
Really? You think it's that consequential?
Yeah.
But what could he say realistically that's going to give that kind of thing, realistically speaking, if a lot of the market dynamic is based around, let's say, macro right now with the tariffs, what could he possibly say that could?
The thing that he'll say that'll cause a downturn in the stock is when he says he's not prepared to talk about product on the call.
Mm-hmm.
And that will swing it. Now, will they do the company, this other meeting as part of the call, or do they do it after? It's all an unknown.
Yeah. Yeah, I think. Sorry, I had to step away for a second, but I had you in the ears. I don't know. I think even if that was the case, I feel like but I don't know. Maybe you're right. I don't know.
I definitely wouldn't say that it's impossible that the company update could actually be a product announcement, because if you wanted to schedule a product announcement that people were going to come and see, but you didn't want to tell everyone that it was a product announcement before they came, that is what you would do. Now,
why wouldn't you want to tell them?
What to prevent Osborning as much as possible for as long as possible. I mean, we've got to have a product. If they're beginning deliveries by June, you've got to have a product announcement within the next probably within the next 2 weeks.
Well, they're beginning production. Right?
Yeah.
And so again, this goes back to my thesis: is if that was the case, we would have seen the mules. And the only mules we've seen are Model 3 and Model Y with the covered up fronts and back, and Cybercab. And
can I ask you
the company, yeah.
Do you think that you've only ever seen robotaxis out there where they start off with safety drivers, right?
Yeah.
So do you think that's what they're going to do in June?
I think they're going to do. Thank you. I think they're going to do. Some sort of rideshare launch where they have to meet the local regulations, and I think the local regulations are going to require them to have a driver at the wheel. And so I don't think this launches in June in Austin with Cybercab without a driver. I don't think it does. I think from a regulatory perspective, it's impossible. It's literally impossible.
Okay. So
yeah.
So there's the wall, I think.
What do you mean?
You don't believe in the art of the possible. I think that they can launch a vehicle without us seeing mules. We don't know what we have or haven't seen. We don't know what could have been camouflaged. We don't know anything. We don't even know if it's so similar to the 3 and Y, but there's enough subtleties, there are differences that they don't have to do all the stuff you would do for a normal vehicle. We have no idea. And I think as far as like the robotaxis, I think they've been doing it with safety drivers so that come Austin, they're not going to have to do it with safety drivers.
But Austin has a different set of regulations than any other region. You have to meet the rules that are set in Austin versus everywhere else for you to be able to launch here. You can't be like, yo, we did it in LA with safety drivers, so in June we don't need safety drivers.
I think they've been doing it in Austin. I think they've been doing it in Austin.
But how don't you need a lot, like a really long lead time and a lot of data gathering? Let's say they were doing it for the last 2 months. Let's say they were doing it for the last 2 months with Model Y and 3. Let's say they were stealthily doing FSD tests, okay? They're not going to have enough data and enough rides with paying customers to please
Why do you
regulators.
have to have a paying customer? You don't need a paying customer.
Or whatever, or miles or whatever. I don't think 4 months is enough time. They probably need 12 to 18 months worth because there's not enough time.
You're working off of the model of Waymo when Waymo was at where they were with a way less feature complete version of FSD.
But
so that's Nick, what you're working off of.
That's not right, Nick. Waymo used safety drivers in Austin at first.
I'm not saying that Tesla's not. I'm saying the amount of miles that you need. You're working
fair,
off of that basis.
That's fair. That's very fair.
Look how fast they launched in Austin.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, I think again. I go back and if I'm the Grinch, I'm the Grinch. I don't care. I'm gonna die on this hill. Officially, I'm gonna die on this hill. I've been optimistic in the past, and I'm trying to be realistic. And so I think what Tesla will likely launch is going to be cheaper 3 and Y. That's going to be the cheaper models. And then in June, they're going to launch Robotaxi, but they're going to have safety drivers behind the wheel for at least 6 to 12 months. And Cybercab won't really be on the roads of Austin until like once they get approval that they can operate without a driver. Once they get approval to operate without a driver, then Cybercab is going to flood, right? That's what I think is going to happen. But that flies. But here's where I understand where you're coming from. Why do they have so many castings? Why do they have so many castings? Do they really need to test that many?
You wouldn't believe me.
Yeah, but okay, maybe you're right. Who knows? Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right.
I'd rather be optimistic and wrong.
I've tried that for so long. Maybe I'm still catching up on sleep. Maybe I'm still running ragged. All right, 9 minutes until the earnings call, the Tesla earnings call. Thank you all very much for joining us. Congrats to Potter. Once again, I reached out to Potter. I reached out to you on DM and X. Potter was the winner of our giveaway, our very first giveaway on this channel. He won a Tesla wall connector, or he, she, them, they, whatever. You know, let's go back to that whole thing. A Tesla wall connector that will be shipped to him or her in the coming days. Thank you very much. He won the best joke about Matt's face, which was something about, what was it? Something disappointing about Matt's face. Q1.
Matt's face are like the Q1 results, disappointing, but still somehow everyone's invested.
There you go. Perfect. So good. Every time you say it back, it's so congrats, Potter. Make sure you check your DM oh, got it. Perfect. He sent it over.
Wow,
fantastic.
Really, I mean, the stock is actually climbing at this point. I mean,
I think that's because of Trump. Trump just said China tariffs will come down. They won't be as high as 145%, but they also won't be zero. I won't play hardball with China. Looks like Besant's saying we need to bring down the tone with China.
You know, that makes it like 8% for the day to date. That's a lot.
Whoa.
It's very hopeful. Maybe maybe you'll go up further on the call itself.
Also, Omar posted that it's audio only.
Oh wow!
I don't know.
Shocker.
It literally says audio only webcast.
I'm so surprised. Trump just now, China tariffs will come down. They won't be as high as 145%, but they also won't be zero. I won't play hardball with China. Okay, cool. So yeah, so macro is going to dictate the price movement quite heavily, and we'll see. We'll see if maybe we'll get a multiplier effect on the call. So it's up 2.45%. Wow. Okay. So
well, it's 7.5% for the day to date.
For the day. Yeah. So about 7%. Yeah.
Trump just said no intentions of firing Powell.
Like he can. It's like he can't. Dude, sometimes the shit he says is crazy. He's so wild. He's such a loose cannon.
Constitutionally, he may actually have an ability to do it. It's never been tested.
Really? Okay.
The whole notion of independent agencies has really not been tested in the Supreme Court. There's no independent agency in the Constitution. It doesn't exist.
It's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Well, it's not going to be tested this time, apparently.
Yeah. He's testing enough things. Yeah. Must add another thing to test potentially. All right, everybody. 5 minutes until the call. We're going to switch over. So it looks like Trump was watching the stream and he was very upset about the price movement. And he was upset that he didn't win the Tesla connector. So he had to put out something out there to get the call to be a little bit more lively. So Tesla stock is up 3% after hours, not because of what was reported, but because of Trump's guidance about tariffs against China. Looks like he's softening the language. Again, real quick, for those that missed it, and we'll switch over to the call. It's going to start here in about 5 minutes. Trump just now, China tariffs will come down. They won't be as high as 145%, but they also won't be zero. I won't play hardball with China. Looks like Besant's saying we needed to bring down the tone with China might be working. Markets up. Do make sure you follow Amit at Amit and Investing. Is investing. Sorry, one of the best channels on YouTube. Good friend of mine. Fantastic. Dude never sleeps. He's a beast. Go follow him.
Much better commentary than yours.
I agree. Honestly, I agree. He's great. I don't know why people listen. Why are you here? You're the one who's ragging on me. You're here. And literally, you help pick a joke about your face. What does that say about you, bro?
Hey, he's here for the jokes.
There you go. By the way, how's the banging on? Did I solve this problem or no? Is it still coming through? The banging on my table.
Much, much better.
Okay, good. I'll take that. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much every stock is up right now in after hours. So I definitely think this is just a Trump move.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
All right.
All right, Farzad, you're right. I'm wrong on the video. So 1 for you, 0 for me.
You better stop tallying now because you're going to be very sad.
If I'm wrong, it sucks for you. You get that, right?
Why does it suck for me?
Because if I'm right, that's going to be great.
Okay. It's going to be great. It's going to be great eventually. The timing of it, who cares? I'm not worried about the timing. I'm worried about...
Who cares? That's ridiculous. If it could all happen today, you would take that over, I don't know, whenever.
Literally impossible. It can't all happen today.
But if it could, you would take that.
If I could be a 10 trillionaire and have 19 yachts in my backyard and never have to wash a dish or fold laundry ever again tomorrow, oh yeah, that would be great. I would do that right now.
Okay, so timing matters.
You would keep yachts in your backyard. You'd be that guy, just slumming it. I bought the yacht, but I don't know where to put it. It'll just float it up over here in my backyard.
Listen, I just came back from St. Petersburg. There's a lot of yachts over there. Okay, that was the imagery that came to my head. A lot of people
you should see it during the Grand Prix. It's ridiculous.
Crazy.
The amount of money that rolls in. It's.
I'm sure.
It's just ridiculous.
Larry and I had a good time down there. We drank some wine.
Yeah, we did.
Fun.
We did.
It was fun.
Oh yeah.
But we didn't bring our yachts. We came without our yachts.
Yeah.
This is a lesson for us, Farzad. Next time we bring the yachts.
We bring the yachts and we invite Nick.
Yeah, it was a great time hanging out, guys.
Oh, right there.
We went to Nick's town and we were like, "Oh shit, we forgot you live here." Oops.
Could have taken you to all the best places.
Yeah. Well, I made up for it.
Best wine, Larry.
I made up for it. We linked up. We linked up last week. It was good. It was actually very good. We went to this Japanese place, Larry. It was like a Japanese tapas spot. I think it's called 4-2. Shout out 4-2 in St. Petersburg. It was very good. Excellent. Super, super good. Okay.
All right, guys. We'll see you in
Here we go.
Let me lower the volume here. All right. It'll be fun. Let's see what happens. Okay, everybody. Once the call is live, we will boost the audio. Do I have? Yeah, I have the volume booster thing. Okay, cool. Yeah, so once the call is live, we'll we'll boost the volume a little bit so we can all hear it. audio only webcast, as you can see. So unfortunately, we're not going to get any pretty images with it, but that's okay. And yeah, we'll see where it goes. Thank you everybody for joining us. 4,500 on YouTube, 4,600 on YouTube, 24,000 on X. So thank you all very much for joining. Super, super cool. Glad you're here. Welcome in. And we'll see what they say. We'll see what they say. Everybody just... Oh, they got hidden. Okay, I thought they all dropped at exactly the same time. Damn, that's crazy timing. Tesla stock in after hours is up 4%, not because of the earnings report, but because of Trump's guidance on tariffs. So that's been very interesting to see. The timing of it definitely benefited Tesla quite a bit. And yeah, so we'll see what they report here. We all think that the guidance that Elon will give on this call is going to be the most important piece of the earnings report, specifically around self-driving technology, their launch of robotaxi in Austin, potentially some humanoid robots. Some tariff guidance would be helpful as well to hear from Elon and the team. Cheaper models, cheaper car models is another big piece. But I think from my perspective, and I think the sort of the panel agreed as we were talking, the FSD, the autonomous, the AI piece is a big one. Energy also was very... You're welcome. That should have won. The energy gross margin piece was also really good. It came in at 29% for the quarter, which was 5 points higher than the previous quarter. But the deliveries were down significantly. There was some commentary around potential weakening demand. There was some verbiage around political stuff. So curious to see if we get any guidance there. The market didn't seem to really take negatively to that. It looks like they're priced in all the negative stuff around the company, honestly, because the stock was flat after hours. And so we'll see. We'll see what happens. So 4:31 p.m. Central, 5:31 Eastern. Once the guys are live here at Tesla, we'll boost the volume so everybody can hear and listen in. And once that happens, we will shut up and we'll let them do the talking. So thank you all very much for joining us today. All right. What are we thinking?
They're late.
2 minutes late. Unacceptable. No, I thought that was for a second. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Drop your comments. Let us know what you think. What do you think is going to happen here? What do you guys think? Tariffs are bad for Tesla solar batteries. They highlighted the battery tariff negative impact on the earnings report for sure. Why is Tesla stock trading up after a bad report? I think the conclusion that we sort of reached is that a lot of it is probably already priced in. I mean, when the delivery report dropped back at the beginning of the month, the stock reacted quite negatively, and a lot of it is dictated by macro anyway. The tariff discussion, as you saw with Trump's post about tariffs being softened on China, the stock is up now 4% after hours. So we are in a market, it seems, that is dictated by macro fully, and doesn't matter what name you are. So go ahead.
Did you note? I don't remember this, but in the past, for the safe questions, did they have institutional and retail?
Yeah.
Yeah,
they did. Okay.
Yeah. Tesla stock's up 4.5% now. Can I do multiple widgets on here, you think? I don't think I can.
Oh, you mean so you can show the stock price?
Yeah.
Farzad. Yashi used to do it all the time.
He does OBS.
Yeah.
But with
that's right.
OBS, you can't do multiple people. All right.
Yeah.
You can, but it's super clunky. So yeah, we're stuck with this, unfortunately. Okay. Let's see.
We can just call it out.
Yeah. Stock is up 4.6%. Should we call it out every second? Stock is up 4.59%. Stock is up 4. All right.
Jeez,
how long does it take? About an hour. What's up, Nick?
Everything's ripping right now.
Yeah. Well, the tariffs. I mean, it's macro.
I know, but
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. All right, still waiting for Tesla to go live. Yep. 4 minutes late. Usually they would have been live right about now, but looks like they're running a little bit late. Maybe Elon's distracted, tweeting, posting. You posting anything?
They're just getting the product lineup ready for the video.
Yeah. It blows my mind that they haven't done that yet. For being such a tech-forward company. Yeah.
I know. It's...
Yeah. But I mean, it's so par for the course for the company, because when I used to work there, like literally everything internal was so low tech. Like the way we solved for things was like brute force. A lot of things we just have to figure out how to make stuff work. But then the end result was like magic. Like we reserved all the high tech, incredible stuff for like the product, and then everything else is like.
Yeah, I would say that's par for the course.
Yeah. Like
it's
Silicon
funny,
Valley
like
style.
Well, just like once you go to all these different companies, like you realize, like, oh man, how does anything function?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Everything's like put together with like duct tape.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Crazy. All right. We're still waiting. 5 minutes late. Unacceptable.
Are we? I don't hear anything.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
This is first quarter 2025 Q&A webcast. My name is Travis.
Can you guys hear that okay?
Head of Investor Relations.
Yes.
And I'm joined today by Elon Musk, Dev Ateneja, and a number of other executives. Our Q1 results were announced at about 3 p.m. Central Time in the update deck we published at the same link as this webcast. During this call, we will discuss our business outlook and make forward-looking statements. Yeah. These comments are based on our predictions and expectations as of today. Actual events or results could differ materially due to a number of risks and uncertainties, including those mentioned in our most recent filings with the SEC. During the question and answer portion of today's call, please limit yourself to one question and one follow-up. Please use the raise hand button to join the question queue. Before we jump into Q&A, Elon will be providing an update. Elon?
Hello, everyone. Well, it's never a dull moment these days. One thing's for sure, every day is going to be exciting. As people know, there's been some blowback for the time that I've been spending in government with the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE. I think the work that we're doing there is actually very important for trying to rein in the insane deficit that is leading our country, the United States, to destruction. And the DOGE team has made a lot of progress in addressing waste and fraud. The natural blowback from that is those who were receiving the wasteful dollars and the fraudulent dollars will try to attack me and DOGE team and anything associated with me. So but then I'm really left with two choices. Should we just let the waste and fraud continue? And it was continuing at it to grow at a really unsustainable pace that was bankrupting the country, or to fight the waste and fraud and try to get the country back on the right track. And I believe the right thing to do is to just fight the waste and fraud and get the country back on the right track, and working together with the President Trump and his administration. Because if the ship of America goes down, we all go down with it, including Tesla and everyone else. So I think this is this critical work. Now, the protests that you'll see out there, they're very organized. They're paid for. They're obviously not going to admit that the reason that they're protesting is because they're receiving fraudulent money, or that they're the recipients of wasteful largesse. But they're going to come up with some other reason. But that is the real reason for the protests. The actual reason is that those receiving the waste and fraud wish to continue receiving it. That is the real thing that's going on here, obviously. So now that said, I do think there's the large slug of work necessary to get the DOGE team in place and working in the government to get the financial house in order is mostly done. And I think starting probably in next month, May, my time allocation to Doge will drop significantly. I'll have to continue doing it for, I think, probably the remainder of the president's term, just to make sure that the waste and fraud that we stop does not come roaring back, which we'll do if it has the chance. So I think I'll continue to spend, a day or two per week on government matters for as long as the president would like me to do so, and as long as it is useful. But starting next month, I'll be allocating far more of my time to Tesla, and now that the major work of establishing the Department of Government Efficiency is done. So at Tesla, we've gone through many a crisis over the years, and actually been through many near-death experiences. Like we're on the ragged edge of death, at least on maybe a dozen times. It's been so many times. This is not one of those times. We're not on the ragged edge of death, not even close. But there are some challenges, and I expect that this year will be there'll probably be some unexpected bumps this year. But I remain extremely optimistic about the future of the company. The future of the company is fundamentally based on large-scale autonomous cars and large-scale, in large volume, vast numbers of autonomous humanoid robots. So the value of a company that makes truly useful autonomous humanoid robots and autonomous useful vehicles at scale, at low cost, which is what Tesla's going to do, is staggering. I continue to believe that Tesla, with excellent execution, will be the most valuable company in the world by far. But that's an important if. We must execute well. But if we do execute well, I think Tesla will be the most valuable company in the world by far. It may be as valuable as the next 5 companies combined. So, but there'll be a few bumps along the road before that happens. I said, I think on the last earnings call that, we'll start to see the prosperity of autonomy take effect in a material way around the middle of next year. Well, we still expect to be selling fully autonomous rides in June in Austin, as we've been saying for now several months. So that's continued. But the real question from a financial standpoint is, when does it really become material and affect the bottom line of the company, and start to be a fundamental part of when does it move the financial needle in a significant way? That's probably around the middle of next year, second half of next year. And then once it does start to move the financial needle in a significant way, it will really go exponential from there. So I'd encourage people to look beyond like the, some sort of bumps and potholes of the road immediately ahead of us, but lift your gaze to the bright, shining, citadel on a hill. I don't know, some Reagan-esque imagery, and that's where we're headed, and not too distant future, like I said, end of next year type of thing. So Let's see. With respect to supply chain risk, something that Tesla has been working on for several years is to localize supply chains. This actually makes sense from a cost standpoint, and from a logistics risk standpoint. Is to have the supply chains be at least located on the continent in which the car is built. And so we are, I think, the least affected car company with respect to tariffs, at least in most respects. I mean, it remains to be seen. Now tariffs are still, tough on a company when margins are still low. But we do have localized supply chains in North America, Europe, and China. So that puts us in a stronger position than any of our competitors. And undoubtedly, I'm going to get a lot of questions about tariffs, and I just want to emphasize that the tariff decision is entirely up to the President of the United States. I will weigh in with my advice with the President, which he will listen to my advice, but then it's up to him, of course, to make his decision. I've been on the record many times as saying that I believe lower tariffs are generally a good idea for prosperity. But this decision is fundamentally up to the elected representative of the people, being the President of the United States. So, I'll continue to advocate for lower tariffs rather than higher tariffs, but that's all I can do. So, now let me walk you through why I'm so excited about the future of Tesla. So, first of all, autonomy. The team and I are laser focused on bringing robotaxi to Austin in June. Unsupervised autonomy will first be solved for the Model Y in Austin, and then actually we should parse out the terms robotic taxi or robotaxi, and just generally like what's the Cybercab, because we've got a product called the Cybercab, and then but any Tesla, which could be an S3, X, or Y that is autonomous, is a robotic taxi or robotaxi. It's very confusing. So the vast majority of the Tesla fleet that we've made is capable of being a robotaxi or robotic taxi. As we're going from, once we can make the system work where you can have paid rides fully autonomously with no one in the car in one city, that is a very scalable thing for us to go broadly within whatever jurisdiction allows us to operate. So because what we're solving for is a general solution to autonomy, not a city-specific solution for autonomy, once we make it work in a few cities, we can basically make it work in all cities in that legal jurisdiction. So once we can make it basically work in a few cities in America, we can make it work anywhere in America. Once we can make it work in a few cities in China, it can work anywhere in China, likewise in Europe, limited only by regulatory approvals. So this is the advantage of having a generalized solution using artificial intelligence and an AI chip that Tesla designed specifically for this purpose, as opposed to very expensive sensors and high precision maps of a particular neighborhood where that neighborhood may change or often changes, and then the cost stops working. So we have a general solution instead of a specific solution. Yeah. And with regard to Optimus, making good progress in Optimus. We expect to have thousands of of Optimus robots working in Tesla factories by the end of this year, doing useful work. And we expect to scale Optimus up faster than any product, I think, in history, to get to millions of units per year as soon as possible. I think feel confident in getting to 1 million units per year in less than 5 years, maybe 4 years. So by 2030, I feel confident in predicting 1 million Optimus units per year. It might be 2029. So let's see, with respect to energy, our energy business is doing very well. The Megapack is enables utility companies to output far more total energy than would otherwise be the case. When you think of the energy capability of a grid, it's much more than say total energy output per year. If the power plants could operate at peak power for all 24 hours, as opposed to being at half power, sometimes a quarter power at night, then you could double the energy output of existing power plants. But in order to do that, you need to buffer the energy so that you can charge up the something like battery pack at night and then discharge into the grid during the day. So this is a massive unlock on total energy output of any given grid over the course of a year. And utility companies are beginning to realize this and are buying in our megapacks at scale. So at this point, a gigawatt class battery is quite a common thing. So we have many orders in the hopper for gigawatt and beyond batteries. And we expect the stationary energy storage business to scale ultimately to terawatts per year. So very, very good numbers. Now, Q1, first quarters of a year are usually pretty tricky because it's usually the worst quarter of the year because people don't want to go buy a car in the middle of winter during a blizzard. So, we picked Q1 as like a good quarter to do a cutover to the new version of the Model Y, and we changed production of the world's best-selling cars. Worth remembering, the Model Y is the best-selling car of any kind on Earth, with a 1.1 billion unit per year output of a single model. And we did this changeover at the same time in factories all across the world. So congratulations to the Tesla team on an amazing job in pulling off what is a very difficult transition. So yeah, it's really, that was very impressive work. So yeah, in conclusion, while there are many near-term headwinds for us and the broader industry, the future for Tesla is brighter than ever. The value of the company is delivering sustainable abundance with our affordable AI-powered robots. So this phrase, I like this phrase, sustainable abundance for all. If you say, like, what's the ideal future that you can imagine? That's what you'd want. You'd want abundance for all in a way that's sustainable. It's good for the environment. Basically, this is the happy future. If you say, what's the happiest future you can imagine? One which that would be a future where there's sustainable abundance for all. Closest thing to heaven we can get on Earth, basically. So thank you again to the Tesla team for all their efforts at this challenging time. I look forward to continuing to lead the team to great success in the future.
Great. Thank you very much, Elon. Before we move on, Vaibhav has some opening remarks as well.
Thanks, Elon. As Elon mentioned, in Q1, we achieved something which has never been undertaken in the automotive industry of updating all our factories for the best-selling car in the world all at the same time. And this people don't understand, this was not a small feat. We're not aware of anybody else being able to do the best-selling car all at once within a quarter, and that too hitting all the timelines which we had established at the beginning. So big kudos to the team for making this happen. Additionally, we also hit a record gross profit for energy storage business in the quarter. Now, getting back into the business, there's been a lot of speculation as to the reasons for decline of our vehicle deliveries in the first quarter. We had previously guided that we will be updating all factories, and this would lead to several weeks of lost production, which did happen as planned. The ripple effect of the change is not having enough new Model Y available in most markets for people to see and experience till the last few weeks of the quarter. Additionally, the negative impact of vandalism and unwarranted hostility towards our brand and our people had an impact in certain markets. Despite this, we were able to sell out legacy Model Y in US, China, and a few other markets within the quarter. And again, just so people understand, we were producing the legacy Model Y till middle to end of February. And we switched over and we were able to still sell out within that period. So again, big achievement by all the people at Tesla to make it happen. We have a very extremely competitive vehicle lineup, which with most vehicles going through a recent update. And add to that, advances in FSD, you have a personal chauffeur which can take you almost anywhere under supervision. There are numerous stories shared by customers ranging from how it has improved their daily commute, to providing mobility to customers with disabilities, to giving older customers the ability to travel comfortably and independently. Not only is FSD supervised safer than a human driver, but it is also improving the lives of individuals who experience it. And again, this is something you have to experience, and anybody who has experience just knows it. And we've been doing a lot lately to try and get those stories out, at least on X, so that people can see how other people have benefited from this. Now, coming into some of the financial stuff, auto margins declined sequentially, primarily due to the reduction in the total number of deliveries, lower fixed cost absorption due to factory changeovers, and lower regulatory credit revenues, offset by a slight increase in pricing due to the launch of new Model Y, despite incentives which we had to sell legacy Model Y. Our energy storage business, like I said before, has achieved yet another milestone of highest gross profit in the quarter. This was despite sequential decline in deployments. The importance of this business, as Elon mentioned, is pretty profound, especially in this environment, because if in order for grid to work properly with the demands from AI and all this, you need some more stability. And this is by far the simplest and best solution which we are aware of, which can help do this. And we've also developed certain unique solutions to help our customers to achieve this. Additionally, on the Powerwall side, we've been selling the new Powerwall 3, and it's been received with very good reception from customers, and to the extent that we are currently supply constrained. On services and other margins, they were slightly down sequentially, primarily because of the pressure on our used car business and insurance business. Note that we continued our journey to improve profitability in our services and collision business through better labor productivity. As previously discussed, our operating expenses continue to increase sequentially, primarily due to our AI-related initiatives, including Optimus, and also cost of development for our vehicle programs, including Cybercab, Semi, and cheaper models. These expenses flow through R&D. We believe even in the current environment, it is the right strategy making investments in these areas to position us for the long term. These increases were offset by decreases in SG&A from changes in our vehicle referral program. Other income reduced significantly on a sequential basis. The primary reason was Bitcoin mark-to-market loss in Q1 versus gain in Q4, resulting in a $472 million drop. The remainder of the change is because of FX remeasurement. With the adoption of the new mark-to-market standard for Bitcoin, we expect increased volatility in other income in addition to the FX volatility. I know tariffs is the hottest topic which people talk about, and it has various impacts to our business. As Elon mentioned, on the vehicle business, we've been on this journey of regionalization for years. Specifically in the US, Model Y has been rated the most American model made car on Cars.com Made in America Index 3 years in a row. This in part is of all the work which the team has been doing over the years. And to the extent that today, if you look at our vehicle lineup in US, we're about approximately on a weighted average basis, 85% USMCA compliant. So like Elon said, this definitely gives us a bigger edge as compared to our other OEMs in terms of managing the tariffs, but we're not immune because when the Section 232 auto tariffs become effective in May, which includes Canada and Mexico, and Canada and Mexico has been part of our regionalization strategy, they will have an impact on profitability. And I know research modeling on this impact has been about a couple of thousand, which is pretty much in line with what we've been forecasting. The impact of tariffs on the energy business will be outsized since we source LFP battery cells from China. We're in the process of commissioning equipment for the local manufacturing of LFP battery cells in the US. However, the equipment which we have can only service a fraction of our total installed capacity at Lathrop. We've also been working on securing additional supply chain from non-China based suppliers, but it will take time. Also note that, Megafact, irrespective of all the impact on US from tariffs on the energy business, we do have Megafactory China, which just started operations in Q1, and that should take care of our business outside of US. There's also an important impact of tariffs on our capital investments. I know this is going to sound counterintuitive since in order to onshore manufacturing or expand lines, we have to bring equipment from outside the US because there is not that much capacity in US. And the current trade environment, such equipment being brought in is subject to
the expense of bringing it in from China right now.
Exactly. And the reality is that China has the basic one which has the most capacity to provide this equipment. Our CapEx guidance, inclusive of model tariffs, even with the optimization we have tried to do, it is forecasted to be still in excess of 10 billion this year. And we're still evaluating what more to do on this one. To summarize, we have near-term challenges in our business due to tariffs and brand image. We think our strategy of providing the best product at a competitive price is going to be a winner. And this is the reason we're still focused on bringing cheaper models to market soon. The start of production is still planned for June. Additionally, the advancement in FSD-related features, including pilot robotaxi launch in Austin later this year, should help create a new era of demand. I would like to thank everyone at Tesla and our customers.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Vaibhav. Now we will move on to investor questions. We will start with questions from say.com. First question is, what are the highest risk items on the critical path to robotaxi launch and scaling?
It is Ashok.
Yeah, we've got Ashok on.
Sure. Well, just to make, clarify the disambiguate the cybercab from robotaxi once again. When will the Teslas, because the Teslas that will be fully autonomous in June in Austin will be Model Ys. So that is that's currently on track to be able to do paid rides fully autonomously in Austin in June, and then to be in many other cities in the U.S. by the end of this year. It's very difficult. It's difficult to predict the exact ramp, sort of week by week, month by month, except that it will ramp up very quickly. So it's going to be like basically an S curve where it's very difficult to predict the intermediate slope of the S curve, but you kind of know where the S curve is going to end up, which is the vast majority of the Tesla fleet being autonomous. So that's why I feel confident in predicting large-scale autonomy around the middle of next year. But, certainly the second half of next year. Meaning, I predict that there will be millions of Teslas operating autonomously, fully autonomously, in the second half of next year. It does seem increasingly likely that there will be a localized parameter set where sort of like that the especially for places that have, say, very snowy weather, like say if you're in the Northeast or something, that like there's, you can think of it, it's kind of like a human. Like if you could be a very good driver in California, but are you going to be also a good driver in a blizzard in Manhattan? You're not going to be as good. So there is actually some value in, you can still drive, but your probability of an accident is higher. So it's increasingly obvious that there's some value to having a localized set of parameters for different regions and localities. But this is I put that in the nice to have category. It's not the required category. Again, it's really the car is just very much like a human. It's digital neural nets and cameras, and humans operate with biological neural nets and eyes. And so the same strengths and weaknesses will be present for a digital neural net and cameras versus a biological neural net and eyes. Ashok, if you'd like to elaborate on that.
Yeah, and speaking to the location-specific models, we still have a generalized approach, and you can see that from deployment of FSD supervised in China, where with just very minimal data that's like China-specific, the models generalize quite well to completely different driving styles. That just like shows that the AI-based solution that we have is the right one, because if we had gone down the previous rule-based solutions or like more hard-coded HD map-based solutions, it would have taken like many years to get China to work. You can see those in the videos that people post online themselves. So the generalized solution that we are pursuing is the right one that's going to scale well. And you can think of this like location-specific parameters that Elon alluded to as like a mixture of experts. And if you're sort of like familiar with the AI models like Grok and others, they all use this mixture of experts to sort of like specialize the parameters to specific tasks while still being general. This makes the model use limited amount of compute to solve for the diversity of tasks that it has to solve. In terms of addressing the question that asked for, what are the critical things that we need to get right, one thing I would like to note is validation. Self-driving is a long tail problem where there can be a lot of edge cases that only happen very rarely. Currently, we are driving around in Austin using our QA fleet, but then it's like super rare to get interventions that are critical for robotaxi operation. And so you can like go many days without getting a single intervention. So you can't easily know whether you're improving or regressing in your capacity. And we need to build out sophisticated simulations, including neural network-based video generation. That's all happening in the background to make sure that we deliver a safe product and we are able to measure our safety, even though we can't just like see it by driving around the block or something like that.
In very basic terms, if we're seeing an accident every 10,000 miles, well, then you have to drive 10,000 miles on average before you get an accident or an intervention. So it's like, okay. Now imagine, I mean, we must be really, people must be very worked out by the sheer number of Teslas doing circuits in Austin right now. We're like, well, it's going to look pretty bizarre.
Yeah.
Some people are chasing us away.
Yeah. There's just always a convoy of Teslas going just going all over to Austin in circles. But yeah, as I just can't emphasize this enough. In order to figure out long tail things, if it's 1 in 10,000, let's say it's 1 in 20,000 miles or 1 in 30. Now the average person drives 10,000 miles in a year. So now try to compress that test cycle into a matter of a few months. It means you need a lot of cars doing a lot of driving in order to compress that, or just do in a matter of a month what would normally take someone a year.
Yeah, and
exactly.
I would just also add that, if you haven't looked at those videos coming out of China, people are.
Oh yeah, those videos are amazing.
Yeah, they're putting it to real test. I mean, they're taking to dirt roads.
Frankly, I think the Chinese consumer might be the most demanding consumer, and I actually, customers in China are awesome. They have a lot of fun with the cars. I saw one guy take a Tesla on autonomous on a narrow dirt road.
Yes.
Across like a mountain, and I'm like, still a very brave person. And the Tesla's driving along on a road with no barriers, where if he makes a mistake, he's going to plunge to his doom. But it worked.
Great, thank you.
And if the question was on CyberCab itself, we're in B sample validation now.
Yeah, we should ask that question too.
Yeah, we have our first big builds coming at the end of this quarter, within Q2, and then in the coming months we start to large scale installation of all the equipment in Giga Texas, with still on schedule for production next year.
Yeah, and I just want to also clarify, because I think people don't understand. They think that there's no new building being built, and where is Cybercab going to
Oh,
be?
it's in the Giga.
It's within the same factory.
Yeah.
It's happening and people don't know it's just happening upstairs and all along the lines, while we're still building the Model Ys and Cybertrucks every day.
Yeah, it's worth noting that the Tesla Gigafactory in Austin is 3 times the size of the Pentagon.
Including the garden.
Yeah, including the Ground Zero garden. So go visit the Pentagon. I'm like, this building used to look big, but anymore.
Great, thank you very much. The next question is, when will FSD unsupervised be available for personal use on personally owned cars?
Before the end of this year. Not necessarily let's say within the US, like we do want to test, we're at Tesla, we're absolutely hardcore about safety. We go to great lengths to make the safest car in the world and have the lowest accidents per mile, and fewest lives lost. So we want to be very careful. So we want autonomy to be definitively safer than manual driving. So it's not enough that it just be as safe. It needs to be meaningfully safer than if it's cars manually driven. So, and we want to confirm that there's not something. We just want to be cautious with the rollout. We don't want to jump in at the deep end with an army. So, but that said, I think we should be able to have it work in several cities later this year for personal use. So the acid test being you should be able to can you go to sleep in your car and wake up at your destination? And I'm confident that will be available in many cities in the US by the end of this year.
Great, thank you very much. The next question is Tesla still on track for releasing more affordable models this year? Or will you be focusing on simplified versions to enhance affordability, similar to the rear-wheel drive Cybertruck?
Yeah, we're still planning to release models this year. As with all launches, we're working through like the last minute issues that pop up. We're knocking them down one by one. At this point, I would say that ramp might be a little slower than we had hoped initially, but there's nothing, just kind of given that turmoil that exists in the industry right now. But there's nothing that's blocking us from starting production within the timeline laid out in the opening remarks. And I will say it's important to emphasize that, as we've said all along, the full utilization of our factories is the primary goal for these new products. And so flexibility of what we can do within the form factor and the design of it is really limited to what we can do on our existing lines rather than building new ones. But we've been targeting the low cost of ownership. Monthly payment is the biggest differentiator for our vehicles. And that's why we're focused on bringing these new models with the lowest price to the market within the constraints I just highlighted.
Great, thank you very much. The next question is, does Tesla see robotaxi as a winner-take-most market? And as you approach the Austin launch, how do you expect to compare against Waymo's offering, especially regarding pricing, geofencing, and regulatory flexibility?
Well, okay. The issue with Waymo's cars is it costs way more money. From shot. But that is the issue. The cars are very expensive, made in low volume. Teslas are, I don't know, probably cost a quarter or 20% of what a Waymo costs, and made in very high volume. Ironically, we're the ones that made the bet that a pure AI solution with cameras and the car actually will listen for sirens and that kind of thing. It's the right move. And Waymo decided that an expensive sensor suite is the way to go, even though Google's very good at AI. It's ironic. And it is worth noting that Tesla's built an incredible AI software team and AI hardware chip design team. From scratch, from nothing. We didn't acquire anyone. We just built it. So, it's really, I don't see anyone being able to compete with Tesla at present. And I'm sure that'll change eventually. But at least as far as I'm aware, Tesla will have, 99% market share or something ridiculous. That 90-something percent, at least, I don't know, at least something might change, but if we have millions of cars deployed next year, and unless others have millions of cars deployed, we'll have, unless we're blocked by regulatory situations, it won't be long. In a few years, we'll have 10 million autonomous cars on the roads, then, and counting.
And the other thing which people forget is we're not just developing the software solution, we are also manufacturing the cars.
Yeah.
And what Waymo has, they're taking cars and then trying to put
way more money.
We don't do that. So that definitely gives us a big leg up. And like Elon said, we already have a big existing fleet, which hopefully with the software update could become autonomous.
With the software update, it will become autonomous. To be clear, the Model Y that we're talking about in being autonomous in Austin in June are the Model Ys we make currently. There's no change to it.
I think people don't appreciate that the car which they can buy today,
The car that they have.
or the car they have, is capable of
Yeah.
these kind of things.
In fact, it does drive autonomously from the factory to the end of line, every car
Yeah.
nowadays.
So
In
the
the
Cybertruck
US.
through the tunnel, the Model Ys, everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. We have, it is being put to use, it's doing useful work fully autonomously at the factories, as Ashok was mentioning. The cars drive themselves from end of line to where they're supposed to be picked up by a truck to be taken to a customer. And I'm confident also that later this year, the first Model Y will drive itself all the way to the customer. So from a factory in Boston and our one here in Fremont, California, I'm confident that from both factories, we'll be able to drive directly to a customer from the factory.
Tool delivery.
Yeah. Literally goes from the end of line and drives themselves to your house.
It's important to note in the factories, we don't have dedicated lanes or anything. People are coming
Yeah.
in and out every day, trucks delivering supplies, parts, construction, for
Well, and people can film it. By the way, you
Yeah.
can see this from the road, like it's uncovered.
exactly.
In this videos, people take videos online, and anyone who wants to go see it can just drive past our Fremont factory and see the autonomous
It's
cars
like
driving
that.
themselves. Yeah, and they drive themselves and they put themselves in the exact right spot to be picked up.
Yeah, the logistics yard is right there in the open. You can
Yeah,
see. We don't move it again to another lane.
but they go to a specific spot, parking
Exactly.
spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just a routine, like everyday thing now.
Great, thank you very much. The next question is, can you please provide an update on the unboxed method and how that is progressing?
Sure. It's progressing, absolutely. As I mentioned just a minute ago, like it is the basis for our Cybercat manufacturing process. It's really what we changed in order to allow the low cost of production and also get the super high levels of automation. Really levels of automation that are sort of unheard of in the vehicle manufacturing scale. This is like not something that, when you see it be produced, you'll think of in terms of like, wow, that's how a car has been built for 100 years. It's really something we've changed. In the past year, we've been like focusing on a lot of key development areas, like marrying these large sub-assemblies together in a precise way, in an accurate way. We've also de-risked things like corrosion of uncoated aluminum structures, the sealing across the seams of the vehicle, and when you marry assemble components. And we've even done early crash testing and proven that it's going to be just as safe as every other car we build. And so with all that combined, we kind of go into the builds that we have at the end of this quarter for the Cybercat product, and that's the next real big test of full scale, integration of the unbox process. And that's kind of where we are. So you'll see them in test and on the test roads in a couple of months.
Yeah. And although the line won't be upset at this rate
initially,
this is a revolutionary production system. I'm not sure what the right word is. Unboxing sounds like something like when you get your phone.
Can you open it up?
Yeah, you have like a pleasant experience when you take your phone out of the box. But which of course is nice, but this is much more revolutionary than that. This is a profound reimagining of how to make cars in the first place. No car is made like this anywhere in the world. The factory is the product as much as the car is the product. So it's really just the first principles approach to manufacturing that will ultimately allow us, I think, I'm confident ultimately it'll allow us to achieve a cycle time, meaning a unit every 5 seconds or less, off a single line.
And we want to incorporate some of these for testing it into our existing production lines as well for those with the line Cybertruck already.
This is something I've been thinking about for a long time, and I've sort of been thinking about this for a long time, and it's kind of it's not a crazy thing. Like a car every 5 seconds may sound like it's coming out like bullets, but actually it's coming out at walking speed.
It's like a meter a second.
A meter a second. So this is like we're still far away from caring about the aerodynamic drag of the manufacturing line. Because you're still at 3 miles an hour type of thing.
Windmill doesn't make
Every 5 seconds sounds crazy, but it's 3 miles an hour. That's what we're talking about. So you can run away from it basically. But that's still by far the fastest line on Earth. And it's like half order meg, like I don't know. What's like the best single line on Earth? It's like about
Shanghai phase 2.
And that's us.
33 seconds.
Yes.
And we're the fastest, right?
I would think so.
We think we're the fastest at 33 seconds in our Shanghai factory, but this would be 6 times faster or 7 times faster thereabouts. So it'll be slower than that at first, but the point is that like when you fully optimize the design and operation of the next generation factory that we're building right now, a 5-second cycle time or less is the design is capable of it. So if you like when you go through like a radical new architecture, you go from like being like an A. I mean, I'd say like probably Shanghai in particular is an A+ on a moderately, an advanced but still traditional car production system. Sort of, they're really doing about as good as possible to do within a conventional scenario. So trying to get much below, sort of below like 30 seconds, extremely difficult. But if not, and you start getting into sort of impossible, where you have to be faster than a human could possibly move. So then the autonomous line, it really just needs to be robots moving really fast, and that's where you get to sub 5 seconds. But we'll start off with getting a C in. Instead of an A, getting a C in a new architecture, but then the potential is there over time to move that up to an A+ within an A+ architecture.
Great, thank you very much. The next question is, how is Tesla positioning itself to flexibly adapt to global economic risks in the form of tariffs, political biases, etc.?
As Elon said, we've been supply chain team at it for a while. We continue to mitigate global economic risks like tariffs and political biases by regionalizing part supply near its factories in North America, Berlin, and Shanghai. For example, in North America, our high-volume vehicle programs have over 85% North America content, and Shanghai vehicles have over 95% local content. Berlin has similar levels of regionalization as North America when you exclude the battery, and we are working on regionalizing the battery as well. This is a pre-pandemic strategy that we accelerated post-pandemic through supply diversification, dual sourcing, vertical integration, advanced analytics, and local partnerships to ensure supply chain resilience and production stability. Having said that, we are not 100% insulated, and these tariff risks are higher on our low volume platforms than the high volume ones.
Yeah. In fact, there's no more vertically integrated car company than Tesla. I mean, we're the most vertically integrated car company since, Henry Ford back in the day when they were doing mining iron and stuff, and growing rubber trees. So, we're not growing rubber trees and mining iron yet, but we have built a lithium refinery in South Texas, and it's the biggest lithium refinery outside of China, I think. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Right.
Once it's started.
But its output potential would be the biggest lithium refinery outside.
Yeah, and we've got space to expand it if we need to build more.
Right. So, and then we've got the cathode refinery in Austin next to the Gigafactory. We've got to figure out what to do about the anode. That's an ongoing subject of discussion. The best of all possible worlds would be figuring out how to have no anode. Best anode, best part being no part. That's the dream of the lithium batteries, to be anode, not have an anode. But either way, we better have the anode, the cathode, and the lithium and the electrolyte and the separator to make a cell. But there's no other car company that is building lithium refineries and cathode refineries. We're ridiculously vertically integrated, and thus our best position to protect against supply chain disruptions.
Yeah.
Lonnie, do you want to talk about the progress in the front?
Yeah, certainly for our in-house cells, we've multi-sourced every component, and we have every part coming from at least 2 different countries of origin, which is that we started this. The supply chain team and the engineering team worked together on this for the last couple of years to put that together. It's not something we did in a couple of months. This is years of work. So we're in a good position to take advantage of that, and the insourcing of lithium and cathode. They're the 2 most critical parts of the battery. That's right in our backyard, and we're totally insulated from.
Well, it needs to be in operation.
It needs to be in operation. Once they're running.
We also make our own cells, by the way. So cell production. If you look, there's you make the anode, the cathode, the lithium, the electrolyte separator, the can, and then you got to put all that together in the cell factory. And there are entire companies that all they do is produce cells, but they don't do the other stuff. They don't refine lithium or the cathode or, so our cell production is going quite well, and I think we're currently sort of the lowest cost per kilowatt hour.
Yeah, for all the cells we purchase in North America.
Yeah, so it's
lowest cost to us.
Yeah, so we have the lowest cost per kilowatt hour, all things considered. So the Tesla cell is the most competitive cell. For a kilowatt hour put into a car, if it's a Tesla cell, it's lower cost than if it's a supplier cell.
Yeah, and the plan this year is to really build off that base. Getting to lowest cost is, it's the hardest challenge for the cell manufacturing. It's relatively easy to build a flashy product that does one thing well. To build something at high volume and low cost is super difficult, and we're kind of using that as a base to then build off and add performance in different areas for new products coming out.
Yeah. So
yeah, I mean, to Elon's point, there's a lot of advantages for regionalization. The most important thing is we're not tying up working capital for 6 to 8 weeks on the ocean. If there's a design change, then everything that's in transit basically has to be scrapped. Secondly, port disruptions, as we saw during COVID, can be very expensive because slight disconnects can shut down production. So then your only option is costly air expedite. It also gives us resilience in supply chain. If one region is down, we can bridge with others. It's more work to set up in the beginning, but it's critical to have when the need arises. Having said that, it's unrealistic to assume 100% regionalization across the board for specialized areas such as semiconductors. In such cases, our team works very closely with our partners to ensure we have strategic banks in place and a disruption doesn't impact production while we stand up the regional manufacturing for that particular commodity.
And I'll say, like on the rest of the vehicle, like Elon was talking about with cells, we're also heavily vertically integrated, import ingots, and turn them into castings. We recycle those in melt centers. The same thing with plastics, but it doesn't mean we're not exposed. We do have some areas where we use rare earth magnets, and we've been working for years to find alternative sources and bring those up, as well as we have our induction machines. And as we've mentioned in the past, we're working on our ferrite motors for some time. So like, as Karn said, with our heavy regionalization percentages, we're definitely like the lowest, exposed to this, but we're not completely immune, as Bob mentioned in his opening remarks.
Great. Similarly related, on the battery side, does Tesla still have a battery supply constraint as noted on the Q4 call? And does that change with tariffs?
So this is Karn. We've been working very hard to expand battery cell production in the US, both with vendors and what Bonnie mentioned earlier with the 4680 program. And we're also working on moving the upstream supply chain for battery cells to the United States for several years. And that strategy is really starting to pay off now. As it stands right now, we're not constrained on battery cell supply for vehicles. The recent tariffs do pose some challenges to Tesla Energy, like our CFO mentioned earlier, but it's something we've been anticipating and we should be able to resolve in a timely fashion. We actually have a plan in place and we're executing towards it. We also have some other sources coming online to supplement the shortfall. And then, of course, we have the LFP production that's happening in-house. We have a slight disconnect of aligning the right cells with the right packs. So that's the little bit of puzzle that we have to solve internally. But as far as cells go, there's no shortage.
Great. Thank you very much. The next question is, did Tesla experience any meaningful changes in order inflow rate in Q1 relating to all of the rumors of brand damage?
So in Q1, as mentioned earlier, we took the best-selling car of the last 2 years and ramped up all 4 of our global factories. And in less than 8 weeks, we've already gone to the rate of our previous Model Ys in the factories. So just kudos again to the team for the great job there. And despite the economic strain and negative articles that in California in Q1, Tesla remained the best-selling car, not just EV. And additionally, we had a record number of test drives globally in Q1 as well. So interest remains high. And so right now we continue to see, good interest still in the vehicle.
Yeah, I mean, Tesla's not immune to sort of the macro demand for cars.
Yes.
You know, so when there is economic uncertainty, people generally want to pause on buying, doing a major capital purchase like a car. But as far as absent macro issues, we don't see any reduction in demand.
Correct. And that's where we continue to focus on affordability, and it's a fundamental focus there.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you, guys. The next question is regarding the Tesla Optimus pilot line. Could you confirm if it is currently operational? If so, what is the current production rate of Optimus bots per week? Additionally, how might the recent tariffs impact the scalability of this production line moving forward?
No, Optimus, I just want to emphasize, Optimus is still very much a development program. It's not a large volume production. That's why, this year, we'll make a few. We do expect to make thousands of Optimus robots, but most of that production is going to be at the end of the year. So almost everything in Optimus is new. There's not like an existing supply chain for the motors, gearboxes, electronics, actuators, really anything in the almost anything in the Optimus, apart from the AI for Tesla, the Tesla AI computer, which is the same as the one in the car. So when you have a new complex manufactured product, it'll move as fast as the slowest and least lucky component in the entire thing. And as a first order approximation, there's like 10,000 unique things. So that's why anyone who tells you they can predict with precision the production ramp of a truly new product doesn't know what they're talking about. It is literally impossible. So you go through this like series of constraints where it's like this part's the limiting factor, now that part's the limiting factor, now this part's the limiting factor, and multiply that by 1,000 basically. And then the rate of the production ramp is decided by how quickly you can solve each of those problems. Now, Optimus was affected, by the magnet issue from China, because the Optimus actuators in the arm do use permanent magnets. Now, Tesla as a whole does not need to use permanent magnets, but when something is volume constrained, like an arm of the robot, then you want to try to make the motors as small as possible. And then, so we did design in permanent magnets for those motors, and those were affected by the supply chain, by basically China requiring an export license to send out any rare earth magnets. So we're working through that with China. Hopefully we'll get a license to use the rare earth magnets. China wants some assurances that these are not used for military purposes, which obviously they're not. They're just going into a humanoid robot. So it's not a weapon system. But that is an example of a challenge there. But I'm confident we'll overcome these issues, and we'll, by the end of this year, have thousands of Optimus robots.
Great. Thank you very much. And the last question we already covered earlier, whether robotaxi was still on track for this year. So with that, we can move on to analyst questions. The first question is going to come from Pierre at New Street. Pierre, please unmute yourself.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah.
That's great. So I'm super excited to hear robotaxi and Optimus becoming the very tangible future for Tesla. But I have actually a question on the legacy, not the legacy, but the current auto business. And when I look back at the ramp of Model 3 a few years ago, I really saw it as being the iPhone of cars, a new product, completely reinvented, very different user experience, vastly superior, impossible to match for traditional competitors. And for the iPhone, it resulted in the high end of the smartphone market quadrupling in size, and actually Apple taking 60% market share. And so when you look at the Model 3 and the Model Y today, I think they are still really vastly superior to any other cars. And I wonder why they've taken about 15% of their addressable market and not more, actually. So another way to put it is, why are there so many people still buying BMWs and Mercedes, knowing that the Model 3 and the Model Ys are out there and available? And I wonder if you're trying to solve that riddle internally, if you understand why, what are these auto buyers who are not buying a Model 3 or a Model Y missing? And if you have ideas of things you could do to address that, maybe there is enormous value left on the table there. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering these days.
Yeah, the reality is that in the future, most people are not going to buy cars. So it's kind of what one could sort of say. Look, if you think want to continue with your phone metaphor, I mean, you can remember the days of the flip phones when there was 100 different flip phone designs, and I would the mistake that manufacturers made was to try to make many different variants of a flip phone, but which was a mistake. They should have made the iPhone. Because obviously everyone's going to want a smartphone. But in the beginning of when the iPhone came out, I was like, wow, I can't believe these guys are not reacting as though this is death. But they didn't. They kept making variants of flip phones. Nokia, I think at one point was the most valuable company in the world, or close to it. But they kept making flip phones. Trying to find another market niche. Maybe somebody wants a phone of a different style, maybe this different color or whatever it is. Nope, they just want a super intelligent phone that can do everything. Just one. So I said this many years ago. But in the future, in the not too distant future, buying a gasoline car that is not autonomous will be like riding a horse while using a flip phone. Some people still do it, but it's rare.
Great. Thank you. The next question comes from Emmanuel Rosner at Wolf. Emmanuel, please unmute yourself.
Great. Thanks for taking my question. So Elon, the public version of the FSD software still has a decent amount of, I guess, intermittent human interventions that are required. So what's still required for the software on your end to get to a level where it doesn't need to be supervised? And I'm asking that in the context of obviously the June launch being in the next couple of months, what still needs to happen?
And we are working on a number of items to improve the robustness. Yeah. I mean, we are aware of the interventions that are happening in the public bills, and that's why we are hardcore burning it down. And really just picking some initial launch city helps us focus on like solving all the issues that we face here. For example, like is focusing on Austin, we're not like solving all the issues that customers in Boston or somewhere else might face. And then here we just like have a big list of all the issues, just burn it down, and that's what the team is working on, along with other sort of like redundancy issues. For example, if one of the computers goes down right now in the customer fleet, it would like throw the red hands and ask you to take over, but we don't want that kind of situation. So you're solving both like the reliability issues of the autonomy software and also the reliability issues of the system software together for Austin.
Yeah, it really we just worked through a long tail of unusual interventions. So, and these are really very rare. Like as I was saying earlier, you have intervention every 10,000 miles. I mean, that's a lot of driving you got to do to even find one case where that happens.
Yeah, and some interventions are happening due to systematic like missing functionality. For example, for handling emergency vehicles correctly, you don't need to consume audio as an input. But then the customer-facing versions don't have audio input, but the version that's going to be in Austin will have audio input and so on.
Okay, but would you have like remote operators, for example?
I mean, every now and then, if a car gets stuck or something, someone will like unblock it. But it's just because we are a bit conservative and tend towards more safety than even if we get stuck every now and then. We do have remote support, but it's not going to be required for safe operation. If anything, it's just required for more availability.
Anyway, it's only a couple months away, so you can just see it for yourself in a couple months in Austin.
Great. Our next question comes from Edison at Deutsche Bank. Edison, please unmute yourself.
Hi, thank you very much for the question. So I want to ask about the Optimus supply chain going forward. You mentioned very fast ramp up. What do you envision that supply chain looking like? Is it going to require many more suppliers to be in the U.S. now because of the tariffs? How does one kind of think about what needs to happen there?
We have to see how things settle out. I don't know yet. Right. I mean, so some things we're doing, as we've already talked about, which is that we've already taken tremendous steps to localize our supply chain. We're more localized than any other manufacturer, and we have a lot of things underway that to increase the localization to reduce supply chain risk associated with geopolitical uncertainty.
Did you have a follow-up?
Yeah, wanted to come back actually to the robotaxi. Then, do you have a sense on how many cars or how big the scale will be initially and how that might ramp up? I know you're targeting millions of vehicles in the second half kind of next year, but initially at launch, how many vehicles would be reasonable? And is it going to be as simple as if one goes to Austin, let's say in late June or July, you'll be able to request?
Yeah. We're still debating the exact number to start off on day one, but it's like, I don't know, maybe 10 or 20 vehicles on day one. And watch it carefully, then scale it up rapidly after that. So, we want to make sure that we're paying very close attention the first time this happens. But yeah, you'll be able to, end of June or July, just go to Austin and order a Tesla autonomous drive.
Great. The next question comes from George at Canaccord.
Hi, thank you for taking my question. It has to do with FSD pricing. Could we envision when you launch unsupervised FSD that there could be sort of a multi-tiered pricing approach to unsupervised versus supervised, similar to what you did with autopilot versus FSD in the past? Thank you.
I mean, this is something which we've been thinking about. I mean, just so you know, for people who have been trying FSD and who've been using FSD, they think even the current pricing is too cheap because for $99, you're basically getting a personal show.
Yeah, I mean, we do need to give people more time to like, if they want to look at like a key breakpoint is, can you read your text messages or not?
Yes.
Can you write a text message or not? Because obviously people are doing this, by the way, with unautonomous cars all the time. And if you just go for a drive down the highway and you'll see people texting while driving, you know, doing 80 miles an hour.
And putting the makeup on at the same time.
Yeah, putting on makeup, doing their hair with the mirror down, and texting and driving at 80 miles an hour. This is a common occurrence. So people eating lunch, you know, you name it, shaving, you know. Anyway, but right now the car is very insistent that you pay attention to the road, which reduces the value somewhat because it's very rigorous about you paying attention to the road, and we'll gradually lighten up on that with, you know, every few weeks or every month we'll relax that a little bit, make it so you can be more and more able to do things you want to do and not have the car demand your rigid attention. So that value, it'll really be profound when you can basically do whatever you want, including sleep, or and then that $99 is going to seem like the best $99 you've ever spent in your life.
Great. And George, do you have a follow-up?
My follow-up is about geographic expansion. Just maybe discuss additional markets. You know, there's been some news around India recently that you could launch this year and next. Thank you.
So yeah, I mean, we've been working on getting into India. India is a very hot market, and especially the current, and I don't want to talk just about tariffs, but the current tariff structure with India is that any car which we send in is subject to 70% tariff, also like a 30%, you know, luxury tax on it. So, you know, the same car which we're sending is like 100% more expensive than what it is. So that creates a lot of, you know, anxiety. It's like, you know, people feel, okay, they're paying too much for the car. And by the way, we're not getting the money. The local government is getting the money. And that's why we've been very careful trying to figure out when is the right time. Like I said, we are working on it. It would be a great market to enter because India has a big middle class, which we would want to tap in, and that is the market which we want to be in. But again, these kind of things create a little bit of tension, which we're trying to work around.
Great, thank you so much. The next question comes from Adam Jonas at Morgan Stanley. Go ahead, Adam. We can't hear you, Adam, so maybe we'll put you back in the queue and we'll move to Colin Langan from Wells Fargo while Adam figures out his audio. Colin, please unmute yourself.
Oh, great. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, great. You know, you're still sticking with the vision-only approach. A lot of autonomous people still have a lot of concerns about, you know, sun glare, fog, and dust. Any color on how you anticipate on getting around those issues? Because my understanding, it kind of blinds the camera when you get glare and stuff.
Actually, it does not blind the camera. We use an approach which is direct photon count. So when you see a processed image, so the image that goes from the sort of photon counter, so the silicon photon counter, that then goes through a digital signal processor or image signal processor, that's normally what happens, and then then the image that you see looks all washed out because if you point the camera at the sun, the post-processing of the photon counting washes things out. It actually adds noise. So quite a big breakthrough that we made some time ago was to go with direct photon counting and bypass the image signal processor. And then you can drive pretty much straight at the sun, and you can also see in what appears to be the blackest of night. And then, in fog we can see as well as people can. Probably better, but I'd say probably slightly better than people, than the average person anyway. Yeah.
So the camera is able to see when there's direct glare on it. I'm not surprised by that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then there were obviously media reports the other day that the affordable model was delayed. Doesn't sound like that's correct. Those reports also talked about it being more of a cheaper version of the Model Y. Any color on what we should expect? Is it a cheaper version of the Model Y, or is it actually going to be a design change with it?
So I think Lars already covered it in answering one of the say.com questions. The real thing which we are trying to focus on is affordability. And using our existing lines, and there's always limitations when you're using existing lines as to how many different form factors can you bring to. So that's the way I would say you should think about it. And I don't know if Lars anything more to add.
Yeah, and I think I said this before in other calls, like, with the recent upgrades to the Model 3 and the Model Y platforms, we made some pretty great cars at pretty great prices, and we added a bunch of features and things like that. I think it's easy to consider that, moving forward, Tesla doesn't make bad cars, and we always make, our intent is not to make a car that is any worse than any car we've ever produced in the past. And so, the models that come out in the next months will be built on our lines and will resemble in form and shape the cars we currently make. And but the key is that they'll be affordable and you'll be able to buy one.
Great. We might have time for one last question. Adam, we'll try your audio again. You want to try to unmute yourself, Adam? All right. Unfortunately, still not working. So
Sorry.
Oh, there you go.
Sorry, guys. Technology.
Go ahead, Adam.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, in the February 28th Joe Rogan interview, Elon, you advocated for a ramp in tariffs to give people time to adjust. Otherwise, in the quote, you said the system would break and bad things would happen. So are things breaking yet? And if the tariffs as announced remain in place, when would things start breaking?
Well, at the risk of stating the obvious, I'm one of many advisors to the president. I'm not the president. So, but I've made my opinion clear to the president, and and other people made their opinion clear to the president. He listens, he talks to many people, and he makes his decision. And I'm hopeful that the president will observe whether my predictions are more accurate than the predictions of others, and perhaps weigh my advice differently in the future. We shall see. I'm an advocate of predictable tariff structures, and generally I'm an advocate for free trade and lower tariffs. Now one does need to take a look at where if some country is doing something predatory with tariffs, or is providing extreme support for, if a government is providing extreme financial support for a particular industry, then you have to do something to counteract that. But I think that's on a case-by-case basis strategically. The president is the elected representative of the people, and is fully within his rights to do what he would like to do. So,
okay, Elon. I respect that. Just as a follow-up, and thanks again. Between China and the United States, who, in your opinion, is further ahead on the development of physical AI, specifically on humanoids, and also drones? I'd be interested. And is it even close? And kind of how? Serious. And,
well, I think you know the answer on drones. I mean,
yeah.
You know, a friend of mine, Naval, made this, posted on X. I reposted it. I think a prophetic statement, which is any country that cannot manufacture its own drones is doomed to be the vassal state of any country that can. And America cannot currently manufacture its own drones. But that's it, again. Fortunately. So China, I believe, manufactures about 70% of all drones. And if you look at the total supply chain, China is almost 100% of drones have a supply chain dependency on China. So China is in a very strong position. Here in America, and we need to shift more of our people and resources to manufacturing. Because this is I have a lot of respect for China, because I think China is amazing, actually. But the United States does not have such a severe dependency on China for drones and be unable to make them unless China gives us the parts, which is currently the situation. With respect to humanoid robots, I don't think there's any company in any country that can match Tesla. Tesla and SpaceX are number one. And then now I'm a little concerned that on the leaderboard, ranks 2 through 10 will be Chinese companies. But I'm confident that rank 1 will be Tesla.
Great. Well, I think that's unfortunately all the time we have for today. We appreciate all your questions and look forward to talking to you next quarter. Thank you very much and goodbye.
Hello. Okay. That was fun. So Tesla stock is currently trading 5%, up 5% in after hours. So it looks like it was funny listening to Elon talk about his involvement in Doge, and how about how it's impacting potentially impacting the company negatively, and people are attacking him, and all these protests are funded by the people that are getting their money taken away from waste, fraud, and abuse. And the stock was just like, and then he's like, but, and starting in May, I'm going to spend less time on Doge and more time on Tesla. And then it went, wow, complete reversal, which is what we saw right here. So, a lot of stuff discussed on this call. I think the general theme that we sort of landed on was, hey, this call is probably going to have a bigger impact on the earnings report itself, which I think that this is what happened. I think the overarching theme right now with the stock price, though, is the sort of Trump tariff discussion. And tariff was a point of discussion on the call, which was covered multiple times. Real quick, I took some notes that I posted on X as they were coming through. I did it a little bit differently this time. I just saw some thoughts and I just posted them out there. So that Elon Doge thing was we just talked about. Elon says there are some challenges. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to share my.
What are you going to do?
This is what I'm going to do. Check this out. Boom. Elon says there are some challenges with Tesla and unexpected bumps for the rest of the year, but remains confident about the future of the company. Elon reaffirmed the June go live for robotaxis in Austin. He said autonomy will start becoming a big contributor to financials starting middle of 2026 for Tesla. We'll go exponential from there. He sounded pretty bummed out about the tariffs anytime they came up. It really does sound like he is trying to convince Trump on making it a little bit less violent, I guess, or whatever the approach is. Trump did soften the language today on China, but it does look like Trump's doing whatever he wants to do on the tariff side. Elon says Optimus will ramp faster than any product in history, feels confident getting to 1 million units per year within 4 to 5 years. So this is by the end of 2030. Elon says utilities are beginning to wake up to the Tesla Energy's value proposition, and that Tesla picked Q1 as the best time to switch over the new Model Y production due to seasonally low numbers from winter and cold weather. The Tesla CFO said that the sales decline is due to production switch over of Model Y and some political violence to Tesla in certain markets, but Tesla still sold out of legacy Model Y in the first quarter. But that was also followed up by a different comment later in the call, which I'll highlight. Tesla has begun to diversify supply base away from China, per the Tesla CFO, as this tariff volatility sort of has been going on. But Tesla's very good at localizing stuff anyway, so this is sort of par for the course. They may have accelerated a little bit. Tesla thinks there will be a new wave of demand from robotaxi launch in Austin this June. They're launching with Model Y as robotaxi in Austin, not Cybercab, in June. And it does sound like they will have some form of test people behind the wheels because they're only launching 10 or 20 of them, and they want to be super safe, which, again, I think it's going to be exactly the same as any other auto company that went live in June, Nick. Elon says there will be millions of Teslas operating fully autonomously by the second half of next year. And they also said that large-scale industrial machinery will begin being installed in Giga Texas for Cybercab starting in the next couple months. And then Tesla FSD unsupervised will be available before the end of this year for customer testing within the US. The company wants to make sure the software is super safe before getting it in the hands of customers. It should allow customers to be able to fall asleep and wake up at their destination, which is sort of, he called it the acid test. They're planning on releasing new models this year. The ramp will be a little slower than hoped, but nothing is blocking from starting production in June. They're targeting cheaper monthly costs. To me, it's still unclear if these are cheaper trims, but I'm sure we'll discuss it based on their guidance. Elon thinks Tesla has a huge competitive advantage in pricing versus Waymo, with their robotaxi costing 20% of what each Waymo does to manufacture. We've covered that a million times on this channel before. This should be no surprise to no one who's paying attention. Elon doesn't see anyone being able to compete with Tesla at present in the self-driving space. He thinks Tesla will have 90% plus of market share. He specifically said 99% or more, assuming he's talking about miles driven autonomously from my perspective. And then he's confident the first Model Y will drive itself to a customer from Giga Texas and Fremont, California, from factory to home by the end of this year. Tesla says they had a record number of test rides globally in Q1 of 2025, despite all the negative articles and negative political attention. I think this was very big because it sort of puts to rest a lot of the fears around, hey, it's having a negative sales impact, it's having a negative attention. Tesla did say they have a record number of test rides globally in Q1. Now we'll see if those materialize as sales, but it does seem like the at least people wanting to get into Tesla and try it has actually gone up instead of going down. Elon said that Optimus was impacted by some magnet issues from China that we're having because of the tariff stuff and some of the restrictions that China put in place. They've also confirmed that they're going to have remote support for June robotaxi launch to deal with potentially stuck cars. So this will be literally people, remotely making sure the cars don't get stuck, and if they do get stuck, they'll unstuck them, and they'll launch with 10 to 20 robotaxi vehicles in Austin, Texas. And those are the notes I took. So. What jumped out to you guys? What's going through y'all's head? Who wants to go first? Floor is open.
Yeah, so I'll just jump in. The thing that I think is the most profound impact on the company's financials is millions of robotaxis on the road by next year. I think people just haven't realized how significant that will be if it's true. It's a real big if true kind of statement. But I mean, I've been looking at this math a little bit, and I mean, just some real simple math is if you have 1 million robotaxis and it's doing, let's say 10,000 miles a quarter, so 40,000 a year, that gets to roughly 10 billion miles driven. And so if you assume your price comes down, it's like $1.50 per mile, that's 15 billion of revenue. And then if Tesla takes, let's say 30% of that, that's $4.5 billion of revenue that Tesla could have like next year. And that's really meaningful. That's dollar per share kind of impact. And that's just at 1 million. So if it's actually millions, like the kind of S curve of like the ramp in Tesla's profitability, I think could really surprise. Now, I think there's reasons to be somewhat skeptical that they'll get to that level that quickly. I mean, they're going to need a lot of jurisdictions. They're going to need a lot of demand. People are going to have to actually choose to use these vehicles. And I think at that size, they'd be by my math, like 6% of Uber's total market share, just in terms of miles driven. So not impossible, but that's a going from zero. That'd be pretty quick to get up to that type of scale. That was the one that just stuck out to me the most, though, because it's like, if they actually deliver on that, then all the rest of this, like, oh, what about how many demo drives did you really do? Like, it's all kind of noise at that point. So for me, that was the big one for sure.
Miko, what was your takeaway?
Overall, I honestly thought it was a pretty bad call.
It's because your puts didn't print.
No, well, we'll see tomorrow. No, I don't want my puts to print. They're just a hedge. I think it's a pretty bad call because, like, just that last answer, like, that was such amateur hour of a response onto what the vehicle will be. Like, it's the wishy-washiness of it, the non-committal, like, either say you'll see whenever it comes out, or we don't want to talk about new products, or say that, like, say something. But, like, honestly, I was embarrassed just even hearing that response. And I thought Lars would have given a more concrete answer, but that was frankly embarrassing.
It's because it's a lower trim.
I don't know.
That's the only thing that makes sense. Why would you want to tell your existing customers that there's a cheaper Model 3 and Model Y coming out in a couple months when you already have those cars on your website right now?
Yeah, maybe. You could be right. We'll see. But I still think it was embarrassing, the way they said that. And I mean, Elon just seemed down, I think, the whole entire call.
He was low energy, definitely, for the first half, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. There's nothing really inspiring or too motivating about the call. I don't know. I don't think we really learned anything meaningful that would be new. I mean, I don't know. I thought it was kind of a crappy call. And I think the only reason the stock's even up right now is because of Trump. It has nothing to do with this call. But I don't know.
Okay. Hans, where's your head at?
I would agree on the the last point there, that the only reason the stock up is just because of the increased clarity on tariffs, and that has nothing to do with the call. And yeah, the tone was definitely down. I was very interested to hear the estimate that Financial Needle starts to move in a big way in mid 2026 based on Robotaxi. And so that kind of tells you a lot about the choppiness of the rollout for the next year as they expand the Robotaxi service, and maybe like the overhead cost of what that is. And one of the things that Elon has mentioned in the past is that when they're expanding the Robotaxi network at first, that it's going to be done probably at break even cash flow, because they're going to be investing so heavily in it. So maybe that means that paints a picture of how long it will take for the revenues that are coming in to outpace the capex that's or the revenues that's coming out will outpace the capex going in. But maybe also giving you a little bit of wiggle room on, hey, if things go poorly, how long would you expect them to take to really start printing out profit? I think that was a big piece just for investors to wrap your head around, and then do some Elon timeline discounting. The localized parameters also for FSD and Robotaxi, it was interesting that they finally have come out and started to talk about that. This has been something that has been speculated for a long time. And so hearing them acknowledge that they're seeing the benefit of that, honestly, the fact that they're only saying that they're seeing the benefit of that now makes me a little bit less bullish on how far down the road that they are. Like, this is something that was kind of obviously common sense true for a long time. And the fact that they didn't see value in it before that just meant that they, the FSD driver wasn't quite as advanced as it would need to be incredibly safe in order for that to really be a differentiating factor. I did think the validation piece, the testing on critical bottlenecks of FSD improvement, is good to hear reiterated. And something I think this plays into the, why it'll take a year potentially for revenue to start to kick in. So as we are offering robotaxi as a service, and I know that they said, yeah, they're just going to have supervised drivers to get it unstuck. I heavily discount that. I think that those supervised drivers are going to be doing more than just getting occasional cars unstuck for a little while. But that said, they will have the ability, offering robotaxis as a service in Austin, to get a lot more miles a lot more quickly, and that will be a big part of the safety testing and validation regime. So that, and you get to charge customers for miles instead of have to pay drivers to go out and drive miles, and so that's a big deal. Once again, just changing the business model. So those were, I would say, the new-ish things that I took away. I wasn't surprised for Elon to be, it's like, hey, these are the important things we're going to go and do, and point us towards robotaxis, point us towards Optimus. But to say, yeah, they're like, it's going to be a lot of bumps in the road for the foreseeable future. That is, I think that's just a realistic view of the macro environment right now. And I think those are my high level thoughts and takeaways.
Yeah. I think my takeaway is there's definitely Elon timeline and sort of putting the carrot out there, but there's also a lot of realism and setting expectations and trying to highlight the risks in the short and medium term. And for Elon to do that tells me that things are probably not a disaster, but they're facing a lot of complexities. I mean, you can tell that the tariff stuff with Trump, the direction he's taking, that he has chosen to take with the tariff rollout, is weighing quite heavily. Yeah, because when you're running an automobile company, you're going to be so dependent on so many different markets. And so Elon's the perfect example of like, hey, like, will Trump's strategy work? It could work, and I'm not here to judge if it's going to work on it. I like to be more optimistic and think that whatever the resolution is will be a net positive for the United States. But on the path to get there, it's causing a lot of disruption, even with one of his closest confidants. And you can just hear in his voice, the dude's stressed the fuck out. Like, I mean, he is not happy with how the tariff stuff is unfolding from his perspective, right? You can just hear the stress in his voice. So from that perspective, so what does that hit? And Jeff was talking about it before the call even went live. Just the decisions on where to buy stuff just doesn't exist. So not knowing where to buy stuff from fundamentally limits your ability to make plans. And so when you can't do that, then you can't make any decisions. So okay, cool. So you add that as a variable to the trying to grow a business and trying to come out with new models, et cetera, et cetera. So I think the overarching story and the thesis for the story right now is that the next, call it 9 to 12 months, is going to be a lot of, here's the new stuff we are going to be releasing, but the P&L is going to do nothing, right? The P&L is just kind of like do one of these things, because as they're releasing new models, margins will go down. But as FSD grows in capability and they release unsupervised, and they start doing robotaxi rides in June, and maybe they start using bot at the end of the year to kind of showcase the thing, right? like none of these things are really going to show up on the P&L too much. And it's not going to be until next year where people are going to wake up and be like, holy crap, look at what happened here. Now, the big thing that could actually change is the macro. If Trump and the tariff strategy actually work out in the US's favor, and then you have this insane investment forcing function into the United States, and there's a lot of growing consumer confidence, and you have businesses capitalizing on that confidence and basically revitalizing the economy in some respects, and it gives people a lot of confidence, then you could see Tesla being priced differently. Instead of being priced as a automaker with a lot of potential, it could be like, holy crap, this bot is obviously coming, this FSD thing is obviously coming, then we're going to front load all the stuff. But I really, really don't think that's going to happen. The thesis for the longest time for me has been that once it shows up on the P&L, once Autonomy and the bot show up in the P&L, this stock is probably not going to do too much. It's just not going to do too much. And I think realistically speaking now, we're stuck in this phase for 12 months. So the stock's not going to do much for 12 months. That's my takeaway.
I might push back on that, and certainly not investment advice, but I mean, like you could kind of hear everyone laughing when that one analyst was like, "Well, why are you guys doing vision only?" It's like, bro, like go ride one of these cars. They've solved it. Like, shut your mouth. Like, but you can just tell some people still haven't tried it when they're asking dumb questions like that. So to me, it feels like we have like an information advantage. People who actually are driving the latest version of the software, because you can actually tell that they've solved it.
I agree with that.
And so I think when they actually launched this service in Austin, and like these idiot analysts, when they could have driven in the car all these years, they're gonna fly down to Austin to try it out and be like, wow, this actually works, and like and then they'll like write this note and be like, guys, they've actually solved it, like we like did this firsthand research
out of nowhere,
like, really
completely unexpected.
Yeah.
So to me, I think the narrative can change when you actually are able to fly down to Austin, like they were saying, and go and experience it yourself. I think that the fact that a driver won't actually be in the car will actually change a lot of people's minds, and I don't know how much buzz that will get. I don't think that's going to solve all the stock's problems overnight by any stretch. But to me, as it just becomes increasingly clear, and they roll out to more cities by year end, and just general awareness of this grows, I think it's going to be hard to refute the fact that like this will be contributing to the bottom line within the next 12 months. I mean, if you fast forward to like the end of Q3, and let's say they're in 3 or 4 cities, you can go try it out, and they're like, it's actually impacting bottom line. Now, granted, it might only be a penny or something like that, but they can like share some unit economics of what the fleet is doing, and then talk about their expansion plans. Like you can actually model it. I think that the stock might start moving when you get that level of kind of excitement, and it's a little easier to grasp.
What happens if the Fed does lower interest rates too? If they lower interest rates,
the Fed will lower interest rates.
I feel like they have to at this point.
They will.
Like, trueflation is like at 1.3 or something. Matt, have you found that to be an accurate sort of measure for inflation?
So I don't look at it often enough to have a gauge on that. I've heard mixed results on it. So I don't know. I'm a little worried about the economy just in general right now. My suspicion is that we are in a recession. I think we're going to have lower consumer spending for a while. I think that hurts Tesla. So I think your broader point, Farzad, that like we've got a lot of stuff that's not super exciting over the next 12 months. I completely agree with that.
Yeah. Okay. What else?
If I were to pull out some positive that I heard on the call, it was the idea of slowly allowing people to be able to text and stuff while they're using FSD. Not just because I want to text, but I think that will increase adoption. Every time I talk to anybody about FSD who doesn't have a Tesla, they say to me, can I be on my phone? Can I close my eyes? If I can't, don't talk to me about it.
Yeah.
Like, all right, well, there's a middle ground there. And they're like, what's the point of having it if I still have to be sitting there and paying attention? I might as well just drive. I'm like,
well, that's how most people think.
Yeah.
That's how most people think. And that's the reason why, like Matt's example of all these analysts will come down in June and be like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened all of a sudden. Like literally the same exact thing is like, Pierre's question at the beginning I thought was excellent. Is like, hey, there's all these threes and Y. It's obvious the 3 and the Y. It's so obvious that Tesla sells one of, if not the best cars in the world by far, that are so much better than any gas car for 90% of the use cases for 90% of people or more. It's like for us, we've been driving EVs, Tesla exclusively since 2016, and not once have I missed a gas car. If anything, I'm always thankful that I don't have a gas car because I don't have to go to a freaking gas station. And I don't have to get an oil change every 5,000 miles, and I don't have a catalytic converter that's going to fall out of nowhere, or the transmission clunks out, or the radiator leaks, or blah, blah, blah. None of these issues exist with an electric vehicle. They're incredibly... And so, so by default, Tesla not being able to sell 5 million 3s and Ys per year says that the consumer is not going to behave rationally. Okay? They're not going to behave rationally. So... They're not going to behave rationally for how long? Until it's so unbelievably obvious that,
guys, I got to drop.
Okay, no problem.
But yeah, it was great to see all you guys.
Yeah, good to see you too. Good night.
Have a good one, Nico.
See ya.
I got to jump on another channel. So.
All right. Enjoy.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Got to jump around. Oh my God, Matt's face. Jeez, that was awful.
We're done with that. All right, we already covered my face.
All right,
earlier.
fair enough. And who knows? I mean, listen, this is one of those times where it's like the weird thing could happen where when we feel like there is not a lot out there, all of a sudden the story reverses. The what you're talking about, Matt, here, like the overarching sort of like underneath energy around the story changes completely, and then all of a sudden everyone's excited about humanoid robots and everyone's excited about FSD. You have your guys like Chris Camillo who follow the story from are following the story specifically for humanoid robots, and humanoid robots becoming a more and more obvious storyline. Then all of a sudden that could start getting priced into the stock, like as a and getting like 2, 3, 4, 500 PE multiples on that side of the business, or that potential of that business, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, there we go. That's what was needed. It wasn't even the autonomy piece; it was a human to robot piece. Because if the autonomy works, that's one of the things we talked about before. Like if autonomy works, the bot's going to work, and if the bot's going to work, what does that mean, right? And that's the super exciting story. That if you think no one's paying attention to the robotaxi now, like absolutely no one's paying attention to the bot piece, but who knows?
Well, I think even now, like looking at the stock price's reaction, I mean, if the market was only looking at like the historical results and how much money did you print this quarter, stock like by all accounts should be down. If that's what they were looking at. But they're like the analyst, the market to its credit is actually looking forward a little bit and not beating up the stock for missing pretty badly on this quarterly results. So that does give me a little bit of optimism that this isn't just like a pure I'm not going to give you any credit until the numbers drop. So but I think we do need some incremental data points, as I was saying earlier, to kind of pave the way for how are we going to get there. Like what are the economics? What's the utilization on the Austin fleet that you have there? And I think some stuff like that, to your point, that will let the analysts start to model it out would be really helpful.
Yeah, I agree. Hans, anything on your end? My AirPods are dying.
Unsupervised personal use somewhere in a few cities in the United States by the end of the year is an exciting prospect. I hope that they can deliver on that. I think it's a possibility. And the idea of a robotaxi, or not a Model Y or a Model 3 coming off the end of the line and driving itself to a customer's house, most likely in Austin or Fremont. That's interesting. I certainly wouldn't want a new car to drive itself from Austin here to my house 4 hours away. But, if I lived in Austin, I would definitely take delivery of one that drove itself directly to me from the factory. I think that would be super cool. And I was just thinking about, it's hard to know, but it's entirely possible that the current cars that are driving themselves from the end of the line to the lots that may be the single most economically useful full end-to-end AI embodied product in the world right now. I think it likely is. Just, even if it only costs a couple dollars, worth of someone's time to drive it from the end of the line out to the thing and come back, a couple dollars times the run rate of the Model Y, which is the highest selling vehicle in the world, plus the Model 3s and the Cybertrucks, like, you're talking about meaningful dollars. Now, it's maybe insignificant in the grand scheme of Tesla's financials at this point in time, but like, there's probably entire startups that if they could just earn the revenue that Tesla's saving right now on cars driving themselves from the end of the line to the parking lot, like, they would have a great business. And that's just the beginning of where this is going.
That's a really good point. Yeah, I'm like trying to think of other products. Like, I was thinking maybe like Maddox vacuum, but not even then, because Tesla's cranking out tens of thousands of these things per month out of Giga Texas, right? So it's like, so the real age
and the complexity of the software too. Like those, none of those other products are like full end-to-end neural networks running on something anywhere as sophisticated as hardware 4. So
yeah, that's very true. And yeah, I mean, that's why people like us are invested in the stories, because we see the potential of this, and we see the inevitability, and it's just a matter of like, okay, it's execution. It's now, bringing it to life. And yeah, I mean, it will happen. The timing of it's going to be odd. And, I do think the next 12 months will be.
Fate loves irony. The most ironic outcome is the most likely. I think this is the ironic and entertaining thing is that right when the technical execution becomes the most sure it could ever be, everything else in the world goes to shit.
And then when everyone's down about the stock price and the story, that shoots up 1,000x, and then it's like, oh wow, they're building robots. Here's the money. I mean, who knows?
All right, I got to drop off. Put some kids in the bathtub.
Sounds good.
So
we'll call it a night here. I think we'll call it all together. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Hans. Thank you, everybody. Bye, everybody. We'll see you around. Take care.